Hello, rivals, and welcome into the first week of competition here in the Collegiate Rivals Series 2025 Fall Split. 28 teams entering the fray, all for a shot at a eyebrow-raising $2,500 prize pool. We're going to get underway here with a couple of feature matches for this week very shortly. My name is Diatonic. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I am joined here by the legendary Reezy and Soren. Guys, how are we feeling today? First week of CRS for fall.
I mean, we've been here before. This is the third time we're coming on back here. And you know what? I've been here, I think, from the start. Season 2 was a little bit of a mix-up at the end, but at least from my side. But you know what? I think before – actually, you know what? I'm letting my homie over here on my right introduce himself before I, go on to what happened previously.
Absolutely. I'm really excited. This is my first time on the Collegiate Rivals Series. I have been hearing that some of the games have been insane. I think we just heard from the staff that there's another insane game happening in the background as well being played out. So the teams are ready. They're all fired up. Like you said, it is a eye-watering number of $2,500. These teams are hungry for it. I can't wait to see how everything plays out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
The collegiate competitive scene has been insane, and there's some pro players in the mix here. Tier 1, Tier 2, Tier 3. You'll see some very familiar names here. So I'm looking forward to see who's going to make an appearance and who's going to emerge as some powerhouses here in week number 1.
Yeah, and I mean, powerhouses we have seen. I mean, to go on back to the first season that we had, CPP Infinite were the ones that claimed that victory. They took out Clemson Orange that first game, and honestly, it was just an absolute blast. But then the FIU Panthers decided to join us for our season 2. And that's when they took down the reigning, oh my days. That's when they took down the reigning champions.
Yeah, I mean, that summer split was absolutely insane. And actually, speaking of those FIU Panthers, our first matchup today is going to be the reigning, defending, undisputed heavyweight champions of that summer split, the FIU Panthers, back in action here, taking on the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. FIU coming off hot of that summer series. Reezy, you and I were on the call on a little bit of that, and very impressive stuff from them. They've got some growing talent for sure. But curious to see, the talent pool is growing, a lot more teams in this season, so a lot more opportunities for some upsets and for some new surprise competitors.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of those competitors, I mean, you mentioned it before, Diatonic, but we do have some really big heavy hitters on the FIU team. We do have players like Dobby who made it into the top 4 of MRC Season 2. So there is a high level of competition. You can see the players here on your screen. It is shaping up to be an insane matchup, especially because over for the side of Rutgers as well, they have players like No Binds, tank player. I know Diatonic, you've also done the Battle of the Orcs as well, has done some pretty good Tier 2 scene work on teams like Shinto. So there are some pretty big, heavy hitters for both teams. And I mean, I think this is going to be a major game. I mentioned before that the staff is already saying that some of these games in the background have been incredible, but the players are ready to show out, and I think they're going to be impressive. I think we have the actual Rutgers Scarlet Knights team here to show you as well. There we go. But like I mentioned, No Binds, a very well-known, well-respected name. The rest of the players also some one above all players, some top 500 players across the board. It's going to be a matchup, to say the least.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I feel like a lot of people don't really talk about right now, we're in the Collegiate. This is the Collegiate Rivals Series. And one of the things that have to be going is these games. Oh, okay. All right. But anyways, as I was saying, this is the Collegiate Rival Series. And I want to put emphasis on the name Collegiate. These are college students. They're over here, they're doing homework in the day, but in the nighttime, they're just doing whatever shenanigans they want to do up in the Marvel Rivals. And that's something that I always do love to see. Why I'm a big fan of Collegiate, because these players are both struggling their schoolwork and also keeping such a high level in these kinds of games. So it's something that's just really nice and also kind of beautiful to see too.
Yeah, and I mean, not to mention the fact that some of these guys are pro players. Some of them names you might recognize from if you've been watching Marvel Rivals Ignite or if you've watched some of those tier 2 grassroots tournaments. So not only are they juggling, their obligations to the universities themselves, but they're also trying to juggle this, a pro team here and there. And I mean, there's a couple of universities out there that have built some absolute Thanos teams, just collecting the Infinity Stones of collegiate rivals players. So, but you want to keep an eye on those familiar faces and those known quantities too. But this is an opportunity to kind of see, who's next in line, right? Some of these players haven't had a lot of exposure yet in the competitive rival space. So, a team like FIU that kind of came out of the gate swinging there in the summer split, these are names that you might be seeing here, next year when Ignite comes back around, or, in the upcoming season for MRC. So great opportunity, not just for you as the audience, but for us as casters to really get an early glimpse of some of these players kind of in production, I guess you could say.
Absolutely. But as we are getting ready to go into game number 1, maps, I believe, have been selected. First map on the docket is going to be completely randomized as long as it is in the competitive queue. So that includes randomized game modes as well. So map number 1, we are going to Birin T'Challa, a domination map, and as is the next team. So whoever ends up losing in map number 1 is going to get selection of map number 2. If it is a 2-sided map like a convoy or a convergence, the winning team will get choice of side. And then if we do go to game 3, it will be a very similar setup where the team that lost game 2 will have the choice for map number 3. So we're going to domination first. It's one of my favorite game modes. I think it creates the most chaos most of the time. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And I believe we got the game ready.
Yeah, we're ready to get things started. Birin T'Challa, as they said, map number 1 for the domination. I'm going to let these two take over, but best of luck to both teams out there. And guys, go ahead, take it away.
All right, and you know what? These are some champions. FIU Panthers, reigning champs, are here going against the Rutgers. And you know what? Looks like already sending a message with hovering all Black Widows. You know what? That is what we like to see.
Yeah,
that is just
absolutely. And there's a couple of things to look out here for. I was doing a little bit of digging because we do have a lot of information on these players, including what their, at least what they claim to be their mains are, at least their favorite champions, I guess. And one thing to look out here is that Rutgers, both their DPSs, do tend to go for dive champions. I think BP and Magic were listed as the 2 mains for the DPSs. So that diving composition is going to be something that we might be targeting if you're the side of FIU Panthers wanting to kind of limit that pool onto Rutgers. FIU Panthers seem a little bit more traditional. I think there was the hit scan of Hela as well as 1 diving Psylocke as their mains. So the DPS pool for FIU Panthers might not be something to be targeted, but Rutgers may be something to look out for. We do see the first wave of bans and protects coming through here. We see Rutgers going for that Luna Snow Protect. Meanwhile, that Magneto, the classic, I still think the best shielding tank in the entire game, that being protected by the Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, just already going in, I think there's just some typical bans that we've just always seen. A Human Torch, of course, just always being that one dominant. Flying DPS just up in the sky and obviously burning. It's just... It's just so much stuff, man. I mean, Human Torch, I think, is just being a first ban. And, we've seen a lot of Human Torch coming in before in the previous seasons as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I can remember his name correctly. I do know he was from Clemson Orange. But anyways, to talk more about what's recently happening, a Wolverine keep happening from FIU Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're right. Human Torch, I think Human Torch has still been one of the best, or at least the top 3 duelist in the entire game since maybe season 2. It seems like no matter how much they nerf him, he always seems to find his place in the meta just because of how much damage that hero does. But we do see a continued focus on the front line as well as that support role. The Mantis being banned out for both teams now. We do see an Emma and a Mag ban coming out from Panthers onto Rutgers. Rutgers just going for that Emma. Emma is one of the main heroes for one of the tanks for the FIU Panthers. So that is a little bit more targeted, but Emma is also, again, one of those heroes that despite recent changes and some nerfs has also continued to just kind of control the meta. We do see that Strange Protect coming out from Rutgers. I don't know if they're going to run Strange outright. It looks like they might. We normally see teams go for the Magneto, but with Magneto, I believe, being banned out for them, they're going to fall back onto the second best shielding tank in the game that does also offer up the portals as a viable option as well. So that's going to be something to keep an eye out for. Actually, no, it looks like we are going to get the dive tank Venom. Is going to be run by Scarlet Snake.
Yeah, and honestly, they are. It really does look like they are going a heavy dive comp here. I mean, just having a Magic, Venom, Black Panther, and Captain America, it is just going to be dive city coming in over here from the Rutgers. And with FIU Panthers, we saw them go up against dive comps. When CPP Infinite. They were running some pretty heavy dive last I remember. And FIU Panthers just had the proper match for it. And with the Groot coming in on Angry Crayon as well, definitely going to help a lot with keeping these zones, just zoning things away. Because it's just the way that Groot does things. I mean, he is Groot. He is just a tree. And when it comes to tree versus sword, I mean, I've always seen the tree. the tree just always comes on top.
Yeah, I do find it interesting here that they do have that Groot and they're looking to play. Actually, no, they're going to swap over to the thing, which I think is actually pretty smart. Obviously, without the Wolverine ban, that Groot becomes very susceptible to be turning into a cat scratching post. It is a very dangerous proposition when the Wolverine is in play, so they decide to go against it. The thing has been growing in meta over the last couple seasons, but I wouldn't say is one of the best vanguards in the game. It's still up there, as we do see that snatch immediately.
Yeah, Dabby already gonna get a really good Vero Leap onto the Captain America. Gonna do a decent amount of damage, but Phoenix gonna get taken out already by Zero Rain. Dabby, maybe to see if he can try and get maybe some kind of from get back, and he does. Zero Rain is being taken out by Dabby now, and is looking for more. I mean, the Venom is gonna get grabbed once again by Wolverine. I mean, he's getting these snatches, he's getting these kidnaps, but is it gonna be able to provide any value? It doesn't really seem like it is, as FIU Panthers still haven't been able to get their spots onto the point. A Jeff ultimate, it's Jeff already getting out and starting to swallow 3 people. Magneto, Koganagger, and Invisible Wind are gonna get launched out, and he's gonna go ahead and take him down with him. I mean, RU are just in fantastic timings.
Yeah, absolutely. That's going to put Rutgers in a really good position to keep FIU back on their toes. Dobby is going to invest their own ultimate to try to level out the playing field, but will get felled in the process. Rutgers secure that first spot on point. They're already hitting that 40% mark as we see this full reset come through as well from FIU.
Coming in back.
You're getting a lot of damage in. Rush Hour definitely incoming as he's just able to go in on everyone in the backline. Boss Descent might be able to be popped here, and it is. It's going to get the last hit onto Dobby. We see the Winter Soldiers as they come through, but it is just not looking good for FIU Panthers. They are just falling one by one. RU going to be in complete control of this entire situation.
Yeah, the pressure that they are putting on FIU is so clean. They're held up to such a high point for this defense that they're not giving FIU any room to breathe. They can't get into a good position to try to retake any of the space. And they've also done such a good job at stacking these ultimates. They use the clobbering time, don't get anything because Magic is running into the backline, so they can't look ahead.
Yeah, the Dark Tiger provides so much value. I mean, the thing, he's trying to go to the thing because obviously all of these dives, all of these dashes coming in, it is just going to be incredibly difficult. But this is just a complete swap out. The reigning champs are struggling right now. They're just unable to go in and get this pressure. There's the Captain America ulti freedom charge being popped up, and it's just going to delay them even more. And the first point claimed up by RU already.
Yeah, and it's a sweep as well. FIU don't even really get out of that first hallway. I mean, I don't even think maybe 1 or 2 players actually got the chance to actually touch point. But besides that, they were all stuck in that main hallway, just constantly being pressured by this RU, front line. there was just no room to breathe for them. I mean, the Captain America constantly being so mobile, keeping the front line and the back line busy, that Magic constantly diving into the back, same with the BP. It just made it so every part of FIU's team had to be constantly looking back. They could not look forward, and because of that, if they did try to push out, the back line would die, and if they didn't, the front line would die. It was just a really rough spot for them, but they do have a couple of ultimates. They have 3 ultimates to play for, including 1 for each role. So there is absolute tide turners. If they can get this point early and get a good start in this round 2, we could absolutely see it go to game 3 or round 3 here on this first map.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I think it's just the fact that FIU are kind of struggling a little bit when it comes to this dive, you know. And one of my favorite things about Rivals is, like, I don't believe that there's always going to be one stat meta with how fast the game is changing, one new hero every month. You know, a whole bunch of strats are going to be able to come in there. But real quick, the hook coming in from Dabi is going to hit the Captain America, and the Phoenix is going to get that last hit on it as well. Both teams are just going to go in. There's that Cloak and Dagger ultimate going to be popped up. And it's just going to let FIU go in and get this pressure, get this point going in. That's 1 by 1. They're starting to fall. Crack and Impact going to get the double kill. And he's going to try and look for more, but he's already got almost all of them. Now it's just going to go ahead and try and delay as much time. Captain America going to just do some Captain America things. I mean, he can really do this all day. Just going to hop on around in awe of my Tism.
Yeah, notably here, neither team investing in ultimates quite yet, or at least they all have the same ultimates that they had at the start of this round. A couple of them getting close to securing ones as well. We do see that Venom go crazy, picks up one, sets up the BP for another one. That's a massive opening for Rutgers as they desperately try to get some time on this point. They are now just chasing FIU away. FIU in a really rough position. Linear is very close and being solo targeted here. Dobby coming up massive with a double kill, though, to put them back into a good spot.
FIU just being able to completely turn the tides of the match and already just put on such a dominant performance now. Just a complete switch from what we saw last game. We see RU Scarlet is going to get caught off here, but the heals are just going to be just in time. Crack and Impact being used by Davi once again onto the backline is going to find Jeff, and is going to find a Luna. Might be able to force an ulti here, but no! He's going to find the Magic, might try and make this a triple kill, but the Captain America is going to be there for the defense, and the Black Panther. And look at that! Magic hiding just behind the pillar, not going to give him the reset, and it's just going to take him out. There's that uppercut coming in, Captain America getting very low, but the Jeff was there just in time. Zero Rain up in a high ground, trying to see maybe he can get a good Dark Child now. No support ultimates available, except for Natitude, actually, who is about to have that invisible boundary up in just about a second now.
Yeah, we see both the upside and the downside to the dive compositions here. They're really good at holding pressure when you have the point, but when positions like this where you don't quite have it, it becomes very difficult to try to take that ground back. We do see them popping multiple ults to try to regain it, but it's counteracted. The Jeff ult finds nothing, and the kills go the way of FIU as they continue to hold this point against all odds.
FIU is just, there's that freedom charge coming from Captain America, but FIU, like, it's just like I said, they just completely switched the flip. They flipped the switch, and now it is just completely in their favor, and this might be a repeat. You know, I mean, last time we saw 100% to 0, and now it's about to be the same thing, except on the other side. Captain America portal and Loki swap gonna come in to just maybe try and buy enough time, but Crack and Impact coming in one more time. What is that Loki gonna do except give him some more resets? That's FIU gonna get the first kill. Dabi gonna get the Doctor Strange. He's gonna get a triple kill. Maybe they'll just see him get a quadra, but no, they weren't on to the point. We are gonna go over to the 3rd point of the map.
Yeah, massive crack and impact coming out from Dabi there. The fate of both worlds was invested by RU to try to keep those 3 alive, all 3 getting stuck in that strangling prison from the Groots. But just too much damage being funneled into the 3 of them. All 3 die, triple goes over to Dabi, and just like that, everyone on point immediately falls, and it is a clean sweep. It's technically a C9 if you can count it, but everyone that was on site just died so quickly. I don't even think it really counts, but that is going to send us over to map 3. This map, significantly different. There is a large cliffside just off to the point, so the environmental factor in this map is going to become a much bigger player than we've seen in the last 2, so keep an eye out. We do see a little bit of a swap up from RU as well, mainly looking at the front line. Now we have a Thor and a Doctor Strange, as well as a Moon Knight and Phoenix, so swapping off of that dive composition composition that we've been seeing them run so far, and now over to a more poke-heavy comp.
Yeah, I mean, they realized that first map dive worked phenomenally, but the second map, FIU just were able to adapt and overcome any kind of dive that they had. And so now, yeah, they have to switch their entire comp and just switch things up and see what they can do to try and counteract what FIU pulled that second game. But now they are kind of going to have control of the point now, starting off. FIU just going to struggle in. There's a hand of contra coming in, but immediately matched with a invisible boundary. And just going to be a little bit of a stalemate now. Oh, unfortunately, Dobby is going to get caught out by the Phoenix, finding him over on the other side of the map, and looks like Magneto is gonna fall as well. Over there on the backline, we see the Thor has arrived with a Tomax as he's gonna get a triple kill, a triple final elimination onto FIU, and they're gonna have to back up. Angry Crayon's just hanging around waiting for his team to regroup so they can push up.
Yeah, they do get a couple of picks onto some of the FIU players, notably one of the DPS, Dobby notably, as well as a strategist, but they're not going to have the manpower to really have a say with it, so they're still playing pretty far back. Notably, we have not seen a triple strategist comp out. That has kind of been the meta so far, and it does go well with poke compositions, but now the team offering to go for it. I do see the multiple ults being picked up and invested immediately as a desperate attempt to get onto this point. FIU trying to get with some points on the board.
Yeah, FIU, they're just struggling. There's some meteor coming in. It's going to hit. Doesn't seem like it is. Yes, it does. But unfortunately, the iframe came in from Jet Truck at the last second. Everybody just falling one by one. FIU is going to be able to go in and get maybe a little bit of an advantage onto this fight. The Thor does go in, but immediately taken out by the Jeff Natitude. Going to get that last hit. And we see the Hella switch. They come in onto Dobby, and it's proving very profitable. Goddess of Death already up and available. And I think right now, FIU are going to start cracking up the percentage. And it's just, these games are already starting off insane. First game was an absolute wipe from RU, but then the second one an absolute wipe from FIU, and now we're finally seeing a more evened out brawl between both teams, and we're really seeing what both teams can do. I mean, RU trying to take down the reigning champs already, and it's already cinema.
Yeah, we do see some change from the FIU front line. I think that might be a big difference maker as well. That switch over to the Captain America is just so critical. It's just able to keep the back line of RU so much more distracted. It's a less concentrated attack from the DPS, which is helping them out. But here, we do have trades. Trade it back and forth here.
Yeah, ultimates are now being popped up. Goddess of the Head that is going to be popped up to avoid the Eye of Agamotto, and is going to get a pick onto the Jeff, looking for the Thor, I believe. Thor is just unable to do anything up against the Goddess of Death. But in awe of my autism, is just going to go ahead and back off Angry Crayon. Of course, with the Captain America, the use of Freedom Charge was able to provide a bit of extra shield over there and just hold on to the point. Now, FIU are going to go ahead and push RU back onto their spawn. Doctor Strange portal is gonna, Doctor Strange shield is gonna go ahead and let them take a little bit more space, but the Wolverine switch now coming in is gonna go ahead and kidnap him and bring him all the way to the other side. Is gonna have to drop up. It's Jeff Ultimate being popped up. Does get the Thor, does get the Captain America and a Wolverine. This could be bad unless they manage to take the Jeff out, but it doesn't seem like they will. 3 members down on FIU, and RU are looking for more. Now, there's that Eternal Bond was being popped up there, but even then, it didn't seem like it got any value. They were just taken out immediately, and Magneto trying to hold down the fort, but was unable to. That is going to be 97-61 and ongoing.
Yeah, definitely a choice. I don't think I like the choice there from Rutgers to just completely full wipe the side of FIU. They had one tank player that they could have staggered, but instead they go for the full sweep. That being said, they do have point now, so it's ticking up 97% for FIU. RU needs to win this next fight because it could be the decider for the entire series, as it's coming down to a game of inches here in map number 1. Multiple ults on both sides here, and multiple players also rather close to obtaining more. So this is going to be a big one, expected to be chaotic as well, as we see a fight up on the top side, and BP goes nuts up on top.
Rush Hour using a boss descent was able to let it get to double kill, but immediately taken out by Hella Stun. Darkchild now being popped up over from RU is going to go ahead and double kill. They're going to try and get more. There's another Strange Portal now coming in, and it's just, he has the Eye of Agamotto ready. This could be something going on, but look, the magic is just going to be able to block it off. Now it is overtime. It is just, oh my days, the Eye of Agamotto does come in, but unfortunately was able to find only one. RU still holding on to the point, doing a fantastic job, and it might be it right here. RU take the first game, the first map.
Wow, Very, very close affair there. FIU got to that 97%, and they also had that strange portal, something I had mentioned, was it going to be a factor back when we were in the pick ban stage of this game. It comes up in the very final moments, and we do see that Eye of Agamotto, but it gets immediately shut down, doesn't find any value, and that means everyone that jumps through that portal is just staring on the barrel of the entirety of Rutgers University, and it's enough for them to get over the line. It's a close back and forth. They had a really strong start. They looked a little rough in game 2, but they come up when it matters most in game number 3 there. Massive for them to get the first map of the series under their belt. You do see the stats here. I think it's a pretty even affair across the board. Dobby, I think, with the 24,000 damage is the key for that game, though.
Yeah, Dobby and Rush Hour just played out of their minds. It was just DPS versus DPS. I mean, it went from a stomp to a clapback, and now it just went to a thriller. I mean, the way that these teams have just already been putting on a fantastic show, it is just a great, I mean, taking game 1 from the reigning champs, as I will proceed to call them, they're just starting to set the tone with just amazing games. I mean, it is just a lot of shenanigans already happening, and we see our homie here has returned.
I'm back. Hey, they let me back in. I don't know why you do that, but here I am. No, I mean, yeah, insane first map there with our reigning, defending, undisputed champions, but a very close affair, like you guys were saying. You look at those numbers, right? Sometimes in rivals, you can't look at the map score. You have to look at the KDs. You have to look at that tail of the tape. And yeah, seeing Dabby there, 30 KOs and so many finals. I mean, that really gives you a sense of how close it was. So, I wouldn't say the champion's completely unseated yet, but very, very nice performance from Rutgers there on map 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, we did see a lot of different looks from both of these teams. They both made the adaptations that they needed to. I think that's the one definition, or the one thing that I always look for when I'm trying to evaluate how good a team truly is. And it's how they adapt on the fly, not just in their gameplay, but in the compositions that they're running. Both teams saw that they were struggling at one point or another and made active changes. I mean, we saw, FIU get absolutely dominated on game 1. They didn't get a single point in that first map. But they came into game 2. They realized they were going up a really good dive composition. They made those adjustments. They found a way of neutering it. They got into that point first. They didn't give them any room to kind of collapse in back onto FIU in game number 2. Sent it to a game 3, which forced that Rutgers team that we saw do really well in dive off that dive, and they struggled a little bit more. They were able to close it out, but definitely test the willpower. So both teams making those adaptations, the changes, I think that's a really good sign. I think this is a best of 3 series. I would not be surprised if we go all 3.
Yeah, absolutely. And, speaking of extra maps, we're ready for map number 2 here as FIU is going to look for the run back here. Of course, map number 1, completely randomized. You saw it there, Burn T'Challa. Map number 2, going to be some convergence action for you on Symbiotic Surface. So sticking to the classic maps here, the OGs as we move through this series. But I do believe that's FIU's pick. So, at least signals to me maybe more comfortable with some convergence. I'm trying to remember if I saw them on Symbiotic Surface over the summer, but yeah, you get a little bit of an advantage here, right? This is the opportunity. If FIU wins this map, then great. That map choice really came in clutch for them. But if Rutgers can finish off this series on their map choice, definitely sends a message to the entirety of the CRS, I would say.
Yeah, definitely. It's just, I still can't get over the fact that on that first game, it went from 100 to 0 to 100 to 0 to 197. I mean, going from a wipe to another wipe and then an absolute close quarter fisticuff shenanigan brawl. It's just, I think that game alone is just already going to set the tone for this entire series. It is just, I think it's going to be a great one. It is going to be a great one.
Yeah. I think something to look out here for, especially as I think we're getting into the game here relatively soon. I think something to really look out for here is yet again a change up of these compositions and these pick bands. This map is a lot more suited to more flyers, which has still been super strong in the meta. Maybe not the meta like we saw back in like season 2, but is super strong. Like we said, that Human Torch is still very valuable. So we do immediately see that get banned away. We see that Magic now also get targeted by FIU Panthers. Like I said, Magic is one of the main picks for one of the DPS for the side of Rutgers. That was a key piece to why their dive composition was so just absolutely insane. So to see that ban out, not surprised at all. FIU Panthers say, no, not again. We don't want to deal with that. And then the BP the follow. Okay, yeah. So both the mains and the DPS for Rutgers have now been hard targeted out.
Yeah, I mean, FIU definitely showing their respects over to the Magic and the Black Panther, denying any sort of backline access, just any kind of stall potential. Both teams can protect the Magneto now as well. And I mean, Human Torch ban, I think that's just, we're never going to see Human Torch in these games, I believe. I mean, the constant poke, the denials that he does. I mean, it's just Human Torch. That's all that we're gonna say. But I mean, FIU is just already getting a pretty good plan to go up against this team or go up against RU. They got the Black Panther out, they got the Magic out. That's 2 great dive access that RU had, and I think RU themselves are sticking to pretty much the same bands now. Just same kind of the same bands that we did see last game.
Yeah, I think it's an exact mirror, in fact. So Rutgers, I think, very happy with their ban process and their protects from last game. Obviously, they are going to have to adjust strategy a little bit because now they don't have that BP and that Magic. And we do see FIU Panthers protecting that Mantis, which is something that we didn't see them do in game number 1. That tells me that there's actually a pretty good chance that we do see a triple strategist line. Mantis is one of those key pieces that kind of unlocks it. It's that Mantis, that Jeff, or the Ultron, if you see any of them protect it. We did see Jeff, I think, get operated by the Panthers as well. So there's a real chance for a triple strategist. I think that is the meta right now. So not really too surprised, but it is going to be a completely different look. Besides that, I think it's pretty much the same across the board. We do see the Luna Snow Protect coming out of Rutgers. That was banned away pretty early. That was one of the bans that got foregoed for that Magic and BP bans. So a little bit of change up for Rutgers. They won't have access to some of their biggest hitters in the DPS, but they'll have some more options at the support. While Rutgers, it looks like I'm not be surprised. Yeah, it looks like we are going to be seeing that triple support and attitude, I believe, swapping over to that third DPS. Or no, Hanunim is going to be the one switching over to that third strategist with the Mantis. So very different look for FIU Panthers.
Yeah, I mean, that first game we saw that RU, they went ahead and banned out the Mantis because, FIU banned, they protected Wolverine, but now, they protected the Mantis, and now we're going to go ahead and see. Mantis, I think, with the recent changes. Oh, Zero Rain has a Human Torch. Okay, so the line that I said that we're never going to see Human Torch, I was completely wrong. Well, we're seeing a Human Torch now. So, oh yeah, a Human Torch and Iron Man. A fun fact, I am an rank 1 Iron Man player. That's a casual flex. Ooh. Not really,
there
but
we go.
But yeah, I think we have seen FIU with going against this map before. I do believe it was domination actually, but you know what, they did pick convergence, so I think convergence is like one of the gambling maps, I have to say, but with this kind of map as well, at the start, the choke points are just gonna make things really hard for, I think, RU to be able to go in and get some pretty decent charge already. But they're not even halting just a little bit. They're just going in straight into the dive, but with the Hella on Dobby, the match against the Human Torch and Iron Man, it's gonna make things a bit more harder for them. Now they do have the Doctor Strange shield, they do take out that Iron Wall quickly, so it is gonna help them try and collect the space a bit. But with the triple support, the sustain is going to be out of this world. It's going to be up to Human Torch and Iron Man to try and, just pick them out one by one. The runes coming in, going to save the Magneto. But FIU start off the rampage by taking out 2 members from RU, and of course, it is the Flyers.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. The big upside for this triple strategist is the sustainability. You could pick that Human Torch. You know, it does so much damage, but when you have 3 people healing your front line, you really struggle to get through it. And then the real upside beyond that sustainability is that with all that extra healing, you also still get so much damage output. That first kill went over to Hananim on the Mantis. They do not really sacrifice all that much in terms of firepower with the triple strategist. It's why it's so strong in the meta right now. It's why we're seeing, I think the next patch is going to be adjusting it pretty heavily. But, I mean, FIU completely repel Rutgers' first attempt on site. And now they're looking to push in again, and they're being stopped by multiple strategist ults. Excuse me.
Yeah, so more ultimates are popping out all around, and of course a swap to con shooter. They had con shooters going in. I mean, they are relatively grouped up. FIU are pretty grouped up, but the switch coming in, you know, when it comes down to Human Torch, his whole thing is like he does a lot of poke, but now with the fact that you don't have the opportunity to poke with the triple support, it's gonna make things harder. Goddess of Death is gonna be immediately taken out with the Khonshu's avatar, but not without getting a double kill onto the supports first. So Dabi is gonna go ahead and get a quadra kill actually by the looks of it. It's just doing phenomenally. Dabi is just making intense moves when it comes down to these matches and just holding RU on like a fort. They're just holding it down and not even letting them claim a third. I mean, Ultimate's still available on FIU. Could try and match it. We'd see they are now running the Wolverine to go and try and match up against the Magneto and the Doctor Strange, but it's just going to be, I don't know, it's going to be a really difficult thing to see. As we see right now, they are slowly pushing up, but I think we are going to have a quick pause here as there has been a quick tech issue, but hey, the homie's back.
I just pop in whenever I feel like it. You know, I actually tell production when. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, you know, that's how it goes sometimes, you know. I was going to say, you guys were talking about it a little bit, you know, it's that versatility, right? You saw that on map 1, and I feel like that's why things were swinging so wildly, like changing up the comp and everything, you know. But hey, you know, at least I got to come in and say a little something. We're going to throw it right back to Symbiotic Surface now, as they're ready to go here for real this time.
Yeah,
all right.
They're already getting underway. Immediately, there is a lot of action. Yeah, site has been secured by Rutgers. It looks like we missed a little bit there, but the point has been secured as well. So first point on the board for Rutgers as they start the march, though it did take them a little while. They get some time back on the board, but it's still under 3 minutes to march on to the next point. We do see the Angela getting brought out here. Angry Crayon's going to be the first one to operate the Winged Vanguard.
You know, Angela is a hero that I haven't had a chance to play much myself. But when I did, and it was like around the first release, oh wait, hold up, the kidnap coming in from Wolverine, not really gonna be able to get too much value. But when I first played Angela, I just thought of her as a mosquito. I go in, grab someone, run away, and then just do it all over again. So, you know, it's a really funny playstyle to have, but not really what I think is optimal in these kinds of games. Wolverine gonna go in and try a Feral Leap, but not really gonna get anything. But FIU, you know, already halfway through onto the halfway point. I mean, RU already halfway through to the first point. FIU gonna keep holding it down. Make sure they don't get any more.
Yeah, absolutely. As we do continue to see this push on, RU sitting on the point, and you're absolutely right. That's a huge pickup from Angry Crayon. Just so much pressure being put onto this Vanguard line from Angela, but so many ultimates being invested from across the board. It seems like a net zero right now, as no team can seem to find the pick yet.
Yeah, I mean, it's just ults galore right now. I see shiny button, press Q, and I press it. Meteor M is going to be popped up, but it's going to be a complete airball. No LeBron James happening just yet. Goddess of Death now being matched up, looking for Dabi, and does find it. A direct hit coming in, but immediately taken out by the Mantis. Just the insane damage. The damage boost from Mantis is going to be just enough to take him down. Angela, Angry Kieran, unfortunately, find himself in a little bit tough spot, but is going to be able to fly his way on out, and maybe try and get some more value as well from it. But FIU doing a great job of holding it once again. 1 minute and 5 seconds about to be on the clock here, but this push is slowly but surely coming in from RU now. There's that last stand available from the Wolverine. Might get a solo pick on the Magneto here. There it is.
It's going to open up proceedings for them as they are going to continue this walk-in. And just like that, it's just going to execute the entirety of FIU as they continue this walk No need for a march when it's this leisurely, as they are going to certainly pick up this next point. It looks like FIU are just going to get close enough to watch it happen from the other side of the door. As 2 points secured, they now need to go through this overhang and fight for this final point. Just under 2 minutes left on the clock for them to do so. That's a pretty healthy amount of time. It's not ideal, but it's definitely not a bad situation to be in.
Yeah, I mean, just a complete wipe coming in from RU. Once again, going to be able to take out every member of FIU and just give them an intense amount of percentages. Now, this part of the map, I think, is going to make things really hard for this Magneto, especially if he tries to go for a Meteor. It's just going to... It's going to be rough, but it is a great opportunity for the thing because they're all enclosed and not really too much space to go. There's that Cloudbreak time being popped up. It's going to be able to get 2 of them, but immediately Magneto is just going to go ahead and use that Meteor to maybe stop the delay and take him out. Double kill coming in from RU Scarlet Snake, and Rush Hour going to get that pick onto the Mantis. Conchu, the man of Conchu, Midnight, he's just moving his way onto the other side and just going to delay them as fast as he can. The instant laser from Zero Rain going to take Dobby out.
Yeah, very awkward positioning. Dobby going down is also not great when the point is so close to being secured. We do see that Cloak and Dagger ult immediately get sent into the back line. They're going to use the opportunity to take one of the back line, make it 2. As FIU look to sweep, they're going to send them back to the drawing board. But so much room has been taken by FIU now. They're practically knocking on that final door. They're going to have so much time as well. 30 seconds to get back to this point for one last fight to close out point 3.
I mean, Fuego just bringing in his name, just bringing in the heat, being able to just use that Infernal Bond and then being able to get a double kill is just going to give FIU the tempo they need to just delay them just a little bit. I mean, 19 seconds onto the clock here. 3 ultimates are available for RU, but when Zero Rain gets taken out like that, it's going to make things much harder for you to just try and get something going on. Fade across both worlds being popped up from Atomics now, and Goddess of Death also being popped up from Rush Hour. Match with a Soul Resurgence. Meteor ult galore once again. I see Shiny Q button and I press it. LeBron James is not going to go ahead and hit, but they still have the Invisible Boundary. Goddess of Death coming in from Dobby as well. And also the Clobbering Time. Hand of Conchu, though, is here. Could get a lot of value, but we don't really see FIU. They're using that Invisible Boundary. Now Goddess of Death going to be able to get the last pick onto the Wolverine. And then look at that shot from Zero Rain. He's going to go ahead and push it on back, and FIU hold the line. Doctor Strange Portal not going to come in time.
Yeah, RU a little bit separated there. The front line and the back line just has too much space between it. Someone is sitting on point, which is perfect, but there's not enough of a push from the back line to get towards that point. The separation means that they're able to kind of, divide and conquer. So even though the players that are sitting on the point, preventing them from C9ing, they do stay alive, it comes at the cost of the rest of the team. And once the backline falls, pretty much the entirety of FIU are just able to immediately turn in and execute whoever is sitting on cart still. So that is going to be FIU's round. They do stop RU from getting the full 3 points. But then again, RU got to the very end. They were knocking on the door, like I said. So this is not going to be easy for FIU. They're practically going to have to win this outright in order to take this map and send us into game number 3 of this series. Looking at the compositions, though, it doesn't look like we're going to see too much change. I think pretty much everyone's saying the same. Rush Hour, though, notably, I think has swapped over to the Namor. I believe the Namor and Hulk combination is still in play. It's a really good team up on the defensive side for pretty much any map. So to see them swap over here, not that surprising.
Yeah, I mean, the Gamma team up, I believe, is still in the game, I think. I forgot,
yeah,
but
at least for
anyways.
the next couple days, at least. I think it leaves on the 10th.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, memory's a little bit washed up around these parts, but they are going to have that Gamma team up, which is going to make things difficult for this Psylocke to go into the backline and get something. I do believe that they do realize it. So yeah, Dobby's just going to go ahead and instantly switch back onto the Hela, because when you have the Infernal Tower coming from the Namor, it is going to make things so much harder for you to get a proper dive in. But I think it's just going to be a brawl versus a brawl comp now. I mean, they have the Hela for Poke and also Mantis as well. But yeah, FIU, they just, I think they're just going to do the same thing. It's try and go in and collect all of the space. But with the Hulk there, it is going to make things kind of hard as we see FIU are unable to really properly take all of this space. I mean, that's just one of the things that people don't realize when it comes to this Hulk Magneto combo. They are extremely well at denying as much space as they possibly can. And we see it right here. I mean, the switches now are going to start to come in, and FIU is just going to still hold on, try and get a good push going on, but RU's defense is just on point.
Yeah, the swap over to the triple strategist. It's a different look because this is going to be, that Invisible Woman, Luna Snow, and notably the Jeff, rather than the Loki, which we saw FIU use. But we're also seeing a very different strat where we're seeing a lot more pressure coming out from RU. FIU played really far back, played more poke heroes on the DPS to try to keep back the push of RU, but FIU are being just pushed back by a much more front heavy with that Hulk and that Magneto, and then it's a lot closer combat.
Once again, old school lore starts happening. It is gonna directly hit. Fuego gonna get put out as the Meteor crashes on from above. There's all these ultis just being popped up from both sides. There's the World Breaker Hulk being used to try and combat up against the Soul Resurgence. It is just insane. Now Hulk is gonna try and make his way, but the Exile and the Sedate are just gonna make both of them just at a standstill. Now Eye of Agamotto gonna be popped up, is gonna be able to get a double kill, and Angry Crayon gonna get a double kill with the Meteor M as well. There's that teamwork, there's that old combination coming in, and he tries to make it a triple kill, but Linear is there to finish it off. FIU claimed the point, but not without RU trying to make a Doctor Strange portal play. They do get it right here until the last second. Gonna deny even more time. The Gamma Mouse, the Mouse Storm, gonna go ahead and finish off the Mantis. Zero Rain gets a double kill, and FIU are falling off to the point. The TP coming in right on time. What an insane play coming in from Rush Hour.
Yeah. And that is massive because time is still ticking. A minute and 30, a little under a minute and 30 now for FIU to try to get to this point. They did not really get to that third segment, so they still have a little bit of time that they need to play for. Notably here, if this gets stalled out, even if they win this fight and send it to closer to overtime, there might be room for Rush Hour to have that portal back. So that's something to keep an eye out here as FIU yet again try to push onto this point.
Yeah, and it's just ultimates already being popped out once again. We saw the Agamotto coming from Rush Hour, but unable to find any proper value. And the Fuego switching over to Ultron is gonna have the Rage of Ultron up and available, and just triple support and immediately matching it. Rage of Ultron with the Invisible Boundary going up against the Invisible Boundary and being matched up with a Strangler and Prison. Just so many ultimates are being used, but FIU are just getting the opportunity that they need. It's Jeff is here, and is gonna be able to get two of them. But one of them is the teammates. Now the Groot is gonna get taken out of the fight, but Linear is just there to take him out. I don't know, Epic out of the fight, and the Mantis, Linear gonna get that last pick onto Rush Hour, matching it with a triple kill, and there is the point secured for FIU. They are gonna start getting these meteors going.
Very similar time on the board as well, just under that 3-minute mark, which is what we saw Rutgers have to deal with. So very similar rounds here, but we do see FIU notably swap over to that triple strategist line. Like I said, it is just the meta. There's a reason that is the case. We do see the Ultron being operated by Fuego, one of the higher DPS. There's no way. Did they get like 3 here?
Oh, the Hurricane coming in clutch here. Double kill, make it a triple, make it a quadra. Tries to make it a penta, but unable to find it. Linear takes the penta, and maybe even a hexa. XD, no penta, no hexa, and Ultron does a little shimmy.
Absolutely, a little shimmy as they continue their march to point. That is a massive win for them as they turn around that final corner on our approaching point 2 here. RU desperately need to make way, but they don't really have a lot of ults to play around. Just that Meteor M to possibly make a difference. The Eye of Agamotto's invested. And wow,
the Quadra Stun coming in from Linear. The Eye of Agamotto finds 4 of them, and RU gets absolutely wiped. Looking extremely well on time. 3 minutes left onto the clock for FIU now. Rage of Ultron also available with getting really close to that Invisible Boundary. It looks like they are going to do a mirror matchup now. They have the Ultron on Zero Rain, but also they switched it Adam Warlock. That Chromatic Revival could prove the changing point in order to getting this last point. I mean, because like a second life is always nice to have, but also a Punisher coming from Rush Hour too. Gonna be really good on trying to deal with the Storm and also the Ultron, but they are really thin characters, so it's gonna be really rough. Aim has to be on point, and there's that final judgment being popped up now. Not really anything being used to defend it, but except the Rage of Ultron. Gonna be able to heal team is just enough, but the Mantis falls, and then the Ultron falls, and unable to get any more with the final judgment. But even then, I think he got the most important players. It is just the Invisible Woman as a support now, and FIU are going to have to back up as to avoid to not get staggered here.
Yeah, Rush Hour bringing out the Terra special from 100 Thieves when they're in a tight area like that overpass. Man, the Punisher can just absolutely mow through any team. The amount of damage that that hero puts out is just insane, and it's just like shooting fish in a barrel as they send them back. We do see the Storm pop onto the back line to put some pressure, and they are going to find Epic. They're going to find 2 off that, make it 3 in fact.
The Omega Hurricane ping popped up from Dobby, and also we saw Atomics use the Lunar Snow ultimate. But oh, the Kermatic Revival, but immediately matched with an Eye of Akamoto. But unfortunately, it does seem like the stun. Okay, no, the stun did go off. It looked like it didn't go off for a second, but that was just incredibly unfortunate for Epic. He used the Kermatic Revival in a great spot, but unfortunately for him, FIU just were immediately on him, and already right now, I don't think they're gonna make it in time to defend this. FIU claim game 2 and taking it to a match 3.
Yeah, and I think that's a game of a blunder. I think without that Born Again, we see a very different story and possibly a different end there. But because that Born Again comes out, the revives come through, and the revives fully happened, and then they got sent back, which basically just doubled those death timers. And by the time they actually respawned in their base, they had no time to get back out. If they don't pop that Born Again, or if they put it in a better area so they don't get immediately hit by that Eye of Agamotto, we might be seeing a different end here. But because of that small blunder, it's a game of inches here in this first game between Panthers and Rutgers. But man, I think that was a very chaotic end, but I think that's a perfect way to kind of encapsulate the series. We're going to game 3 off of some incredible performances. Dobby, again, 45 elims in that game, 20 final hits, 35k damage, coming up massive for their team when they're needed most.
That was just absolutely insane. I mean, just like you said, we already have a phenomenal series on our hands here. I mean, everybody here is just playing out of their minds, and it is just insane to see. I mean, the plays coming in from both Fuego, Dobby, even Angry Carolines, Linear as well. I mean, that last fight, the Kermatic Revival being used from Epic, and just, it probably would have went well if Linear wasn't there with the Eye of Agamotto to just stun almost everybody there. And I mean, for a second, it looked like it didn't even stun, but you know what, Diatonic, I gotta know, what are your thoughts, man?
I mean, I'm going to channel my inner Linear and say, I'm opening a portal to come back to the desk. I mean, man, yeah, the Karmic Revival to immediately quad stun counter is kind of insane. I was wondering if that was what I was about to watch, because I'm like, he just res the team, and he's got an Eye of Agamotto. That's coming out now. So, I mean, I feel like this match is very back and forth. Rutgers kind of carved out this massive mountain of like, okay, we couldn't quite shut the door and say you got to take this to extra rounds to beat us, but there's still a lot of track to cover here. And FIU just rose to the challenge. I mean, it took them a little bit to get going, but you know, once they got on a roll, I mean, it was an avalanche near the end there. So yeah, I mean, crazy stuff. They strung together several big team fight wins and just kind of cleaned house on the back half of that map.
Yeah, I mean, there was a very good chance, and there was a real chance there for Rutgers to close out that game before a point was even secured for FIU. They were really struggling to get that point, number 1. I mean, it came down to mere seconds. I think they were at less than 30 seconds. One last really good fight could have been the death nail that could have made this a 2-0. But you're absolutely right. The moment they got that first point, it's like they took the training weights off and they went, okay, now we're actually ready to fight. It's like that scene from Naruto where Rock Lee drops the weights and suddenly they just started marching. And it really seemed like Rutgers struggled to kind of stop that push. It was really rough look for Rutgers on that last half, but they were looking really good up until then. I'm excited for game 3. I'd imagine this is going to be a convoy, which I do worry a little bit because obviously Convergence is kind of like a weird combination of the domination and the convoy, and we saw how well that FIU team did once we swapped over to that cart pushing aspect of it. So I am a little worried for Rutgers, but if any team is going to rise to the occasion, I think it's them.
Yeah, and I mean, on the topic of game 3, I think we should go ahead and take a look at the map. The final map, the decider of them all. Let's see what we have happening, and it looks like it's Jiggersil's path.
Yeah, I mean, you predicted it, Soren. We're going to some convoy action, and yeah, interesting choice considering once we had a mobile objective to cover, it really felt like FIU was kind of on point there. So I'm curious. It's got to be, you see Yggdrasil Path come up a lot when teams have the option. I mean, we're constantly seeing it in every single series in Ignite and even in Tier 2 and Grassroots. So no surprise to see Yggdrasil come up here. But man, I'm very curious. This has got to be a comfort pick for Rutgers. Otherwise, I mean, after seeing how FIU handled moving objective, man, it's kind of a crazy pick to me.
Yeah, I think the big thing to keep an eye out for Yggdrasil's Path is, and I think this is a part of the reason why teams do prefer to pick it, is because it is so different point to point. The way you play point 1 is completely different to how you play point 2, and it's entirely different to how you play point 3. I mean, this is the map where like the 3-3 composition, the triple strategist and the triple vanguard, has kind of found hold in that first point, and you swap over to point 2 where it's a lot more open. You can kind of run whatever you like. Most teams actually like to play more dive heavy compositions, and point number 3, we've seen flyers, even though it's a much more enclosed areas. That's the area of the map where like the Human Torch gets a lot of value. Punisher also gets a lot of value. A lot of big AoE or high DPS heroes get a lot of value in point 3. So I think we're going to see both these teams shine because the adaptability from both these teams has been on display all throughout this series. So I'm expecting it to shine even more here on Yggdrasil.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Like we said, FIU seems comfortable with the moving payload, but we're going to have to find out. Yggdrasil Path, map number 3, ready to go. Both teams geared up. We're already going to a map number 3 here on the very first broadcast of the fall split. So sending it your way, ignite the time stream one more time for this matchup between FIU and Rutgers here. I'll let you guys take it away. I'm going to go jump back through my portal and hang out for a while.
Ignite, as the man himself says, we are about to see some phenomenal gameplays happen around here. Oh, hey, we're back. All right. But yeah, I mean, I'm ready.
You're stuck with us, Diatonic.
Just forcibly grab him, just Jeff ulti him back onto the desk. You know what? But I mean, it's just like we've been saying. I mean, already this game has already been absolutely insane. Going up to game 3 already, and Yggdrasil's Path as well. I mean, already I see Natitude hovering over the Penny, and I believe this is like one of, I think, if not, dare I say, the strongest map for the Penny Rocket team up. It is just the thing that I've seen so much happen here. And you know what, as I see, it looks like we accidentally sent Diatonic to Resource Rumble. So I mean, that's a fate worse than death. Unfortunate.
Absolutely. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right. This Penny Rocket combo is very strong, especially on this map, because as I mentioned, that triple comp that we've been seeing, the triple Vanguard, the triple support, it just finds so much value here. And with how high of a line that composition tends to hold, they're practically fighting on top of the point before they even get out the doors. The attacking side even gets out the doors. So Penny actually gets a lot of value, especially from their mines, and then the pure healing potential from the rocket is just almost too much to overcome for a lot of teams, especially when also paired with 2 other strategists. The sustainability is just incredible. But we do see pick bans coming through already halfway. I don't think we're seeing anything crazy change. We do see that Ultron and the Mantis ban from Rutgers, so it does look like they're pretty heavily targeting that strategist line, maybe trying to prevent FIU Panthers from pulling out that triple strategist, which I think was a key piece to why they won game number 2 in their entirety, while FIU Panthers do yet again ban out that magic and BP.
Yeah, I mean, RU definitely is targeting that triple support that we saw last game. I mean, getting the Mantis out right off of the bat, and then also getting the Ultron out as well. Now, they are going to secure the Luna because, all right, we can't have Mantis, we can't have Ultron. You can always count on Luna. I mean, it's just, as a lot of people say, I mean, Luna, I think, is just still one of, if not the strongest support in the game. Just because the amount of flexibility I think she has, the potential that she has. I mean, her ult being one of the strongest support ults in the game, of course, and also being able to switch from both healing to damage, and then also kind of being hit scan, I believe, does help a lot against these kind of flying matchups that we see, and also damage, pretty good headshot damage. And then also Snowflake, I think, is one of the most, is I say one of the most I forgot the word for it, but I mean it's just a util that's just there that can provide very helpful, especially in a lot of these dive comps, you know. But yeah, both teams gonna secure up the Luna, both teams gonna ban the Emma and also secure Mag. So honestly, a lot of repeats that we see. We see Mag secured, Ultron ban coming in from FIU Panthers on the last one as well, and I think already we got a game on our hands. Oh, there's the Rocket and Penny combo.
Yep, absolutely. We do see Dobby
Never.
actually is going to be sticking on to that Human Torch. So it might not be the triple. It looks like they're actually are just going to go for the more standard 2-2-2, or at least that's what it looks like. And you created the last one to pick here. So wouldn't be surprised if we see them stay onto that Vanguard. No, Hydronym is in fact to be swapping over to the Invisible Woman. So it's going to be a 2-1-2 with Dobby being that lone duelist, which, to be fair, Human Torch, yet again, you know, gonna be able to be played, not banned out, does some of the most damage in the entire game. So if you're gonna have one duelist to rely on to get those picks and to create those openings, Human Torch is gonna be the hero for that role.
Yeah, most definitely. And, you know, now that I really think about it, you know, I mean, these past games, we saw RU just first ban a Human Torch, and we also saw Dabby also kind of hover the Human Torch. So, you know, I think now we're going to see what Dabby can really do with the Human Torch. But, you know, they didn't decide to ban Human Torch at all. I mean, you could have, you know, banned him second or even protect him. So I think, I don't know, it's going to be Human Torch and Human Torch matchup. No Penny, like I originally predicted. So unfortunate. And I forgot the team up with Human Torch and the thing. Just lift them on up and throw them to the ground. Definitely am excited to see Angry Crayon just... Last thing you see before you ultimately die, you just see an Angry Crayon playing the thing, jumping at you from above.
Alrighty, as we do see RU immediately push back on FIU's hold here, and it seems like FIU are struggling to keep a grip onto this point. We see Dobby up in the sky, just raining hellfire down, as you're told to do on this Human Torch, because FIU are fighting back a little bit, finally a little bit of resistance as they push back this front line of Rutgers.
Yeah, I mean, RU already getting a pretty decent push happening now. Rush Hour on the Hela is going to go ahead and help up against the Human Torch, but with the movement speed that comes from him, and also the fact that the the Fire Cluster was just enough to take her out, is going to show that things are going to be really rough, and an instant switch onto the Punisher as well. I mean, this is just Human Torch at peak Human Torch. The zone potential, the pick potential coming from him is just going to make things so much harder on both sides. It's going to make this hard for FIU to go in and try and get a push in, but also it's going to go and make it hard for RU to get a push in. So it's just going to be... It's going to be really strange to see, but there's a Jeff Ultimate being popped up. It's going to get the Venom, it's going to get the Rocket and the Invisible Woman. That's two supports down, but the Meteor M is going to be used right ahead on the LeBron James onto the Jeff Ultimate, matching it with a Sia and a Supernova over on FIU. Just a lot of ultimates and util being used right now. Tornado is going to go ahead and get the final pick onto Magneto, making it a double kill. He's going to try and look and maybe get a triple kill onto the Punisher, but he does make it back onto home base right on time. And Invisible Woman also going to give him a little bit of extra heals as well.
Yeah, a reset gonna have to come out here from Rutgers. They pushed the card, got it around the two bends pretty much, but man, the damage coming out from Dobby is just so much to overcome in this fight, as they seem to not really be dealing with both the protection from the Invisible Woman's shield, plus that Snowflake is just so much to overcome, as we do see the final judgment trying to be used to crack open here. It doesn't seem like it's finding anything. A lot of damage done, but no actual kills going the way of Rutgers.
Yeah, the Invisible Boundary was used and was able to tank up the entire Punisher ultimate. Supernova was used from Zero Rain as well, but it's just, once again, no value was found. We saw the Meteor Ram coming in from, I believe, RU. Unfortunately, did miss. And the Angry Crayon is going to use the clobbering time. Is going to be able to get a handful, it seems like. And Dobby is just there to fill it out. I mean, this is the Fantastic Four combo that we see. No read, but it's still... Oh, here it is. Here comes the thing. The missile coming in from behind. Doesn't really seem like... Yeah, it did get a decent chunk of them, but... Yeah, he's going to Meteor Slam his way on out. And we see the Phoenix switch now coming in on Zero Rain is going to help against this Rocket, especially with that Ansong Inferno. But, you know, one of the things that I see when someone picks a Phoenix to go against Rocket, it is just going to be an ult stalemate. Like, Rocket won't use his ult, and at the same time, Phoenix won't use her ult. But already, there's that Rocket ultimate using, because, of course, not going to have enough ult charge yet to have that Endsong Inferno. But it is going to be matched with an Endsong Inferno, and it's just going to be immediately taken out. RU finally getting a great push in as Angry Crayon is taken out. And Linear is coming in here to maybe try and see if he can hold it for any longer, but the snowball was just enough to get him locked and tunneled.
Yeah, Rutgers gonna be able to push the card. Should just be points, completely uncontested. Yeah, so point 1 is gonna be secured by Rutgers. Yet again, it comes down pretty close. So a couple minutes added to the timer. They're gonna have just under 3 minutes, actually closer to 2 minutes and 30 seconds here. So they try to hold a very high line, clobbering time, and the storm coming out from Johnny.
Yeah, Dobby is going to go ahead and get a pick onto Atomics, using that meteor stem to close up the distance and just hit a direct tornado. Does pick up the thing and is hovering up above, just you know, just a rock coming in from above, like try literally making a meteor this time. Is going to throw him on the way over to the back end. He's just going to go use the Hansi Haymakers, the Yancey Haymakers. I mean, not Hansi Haymakers. I don't know what that is. But also with the thing change, I forgot all about it. You know, the right click's now going to be able to bring supports down, but there's the final judgment immediately being matched once again with the boundary. But the Mightism hits a direct hit of LeBron James, hitting it onto the Invisible Woman. That's going to be the ulti gone, and it's going to force the Luna's ultimate as well. Now there's the clobbering time is going to get a handful of them. Looks like 4. And this is going to give RU the opportunity that they need to push them back, take all of this space, as unfortunately for the supports, they are unable to defend as much as they can. And FIU are getting pushed out and taken out slowly, but definitely surely.
Yeah, the clobbering time coming up massive, finding the 3, and while it doesn't get the kills outright, it sets them up to be knocked down. I think they find 1 kill off of it immediately, but because of that 1 kill, it scatters everyone else. It pushes them all the way back to beyond point number 2, which just creates so much room for Rutgers to continue this push out. We do see Dobby sitting on the flank, trying to do something. It's going to pop the Supernova, but matching ultimate's going to make this difficult.
Yeah, I mean, it's just old school lore. Once again, Dobby is going to get taken out by the Magneto. And at this point, it's going to make it hard. Dobby does get revived by the Rocket, and Song Inferno is up and available. Once again, it was just like I'm talking about. If you use one ultimate, it's going to force someone to use the other. So it is just an ult stalemate. Now here it is. Sia does get popped up, but immediately matched with an Song Inferno. That Sia is going to get 0 value at all, while Phoenix gets all of it. Favorite couple throws being popped up from Atomics. Now immediately matched with cover time coming from RU Scarlet Snake. And it is just an old school lore once again at RU, finding everything that they need to find here. Covering time coming in from Angry Crayon as well, but wasn't able to get as much value as Scarlet Snake was able to mount. Meteor M and also the boundary from FIU, they are still really good in this ult economy, but a final judgment from RU might prove a little bit of difficulty to handle. They are right there, right on port, and there it is. Meteor M gonna be maxed up, and the direct hit coming after Rush Hour was able to find Dobby though, and a Meteor M also gonna take an attitude out. It is just an insane amount of fights. No one is able to find a proper angle to completely wipe anyone out. Rush Hour is gonna go ahead on the Doctor Strange, and the Luna is still holding on to that ultimate. Might be able to find a good one here. It is just insane out there. To see immediately once again with the Endsong Inferno and the clobbering time. The thing just gets its ultimate way too quickly. Now fade across both worlds coming from Natitude. It is just bizarre. Just fights all over the place.
Dobby swapping over to the Strange to get the portal onto the back line. It's going to create a little bit of separation, but now your duelist is off their main role, and that's a lot of damage being missed. They will fall in the process as well as one of the strategists, and it looks like FIU are starting to lose it a little bit here. They still have people to fight, but man, it is close, and RU is still sitting healthily. I think this is their point to secure, and just like that, FIU is going to fall. RU is going to secure point number 2, and they're going to continue the march, but man, that's a staying fight left. No time left on the clock. They have just 1 minute and 20 seconds to try to make it to point 3.
Yeah, I mean, that fight was just a absolute bizarre one. Now, Magneto kind of overextending up a little bit here, maybe to try and deny space, but really a questionable play coming in from the Magneto. But it is going to leave them down a tank, and with the Winter Soldier now on Dobby once again, it's going to go ahead and hook the Winter, not the Winter Soldier, it's going to hook the Punisher, and is going to go and take him out. And now FIU have the push going in. I mean, that's just one of the curses of being a tank. If you make a play like that, if you overextend like that and get taken out, you leave your teammates without a tank, and that just allows the enemy team to go in and take all that space and take him out, as we just saw there. Now FIU ult economy is looking phenomenally, as they are about to have ultimates on all members. Small stun on the Magneto coming in there, but the Kraken impact is not going to be dished out, and he's going to look for the Luna, kind of stalling it out a little bit, but the invisible boundary from the RU was just able to take it out. And final judgment meter M coming in from both teams. Now it's clobbering time from Angry Crayon is ult galore once again. I see a shiny Q button and I press it. Rush Hour getting an exceptional amount of damage here. That's Inferno being popped up to take out the Rocket Raccoon once again, and Fuego once again just gets put out. Now Beta across both worlds from FIU is being used. Is going to help delay it even more as we go into once again another overtime. Clobbering time, and Scarlet Snake is up and available and does use it, does get the rocket, does get the Winter Soldier and Magneto, and Rush Hour going to get that double kill. It is just going to give them an insane amount of pressure.
Yeah, they hold that corner super well, spend a lot of time there. Dobby actually falling very early, immediately gets rezzed, falls there at the end, it gets rezzed again. That's how long that fight took. But now, with them pushing on, overtime's in place, respawns are coming through, but Dobby does fall again. That's a lot of damage, again, missing from this FIU team, as they're on one final hope to keep RU off this point.
Yeah, and I mean, the Kraken impact from Dobby might prove pivotal here, but the final judgment getting obtained and immediately popped out. Kraken impact being used to maybe see if they can try and get it, but the damage boost and healing from Luna is going to be enough to just keep him alive. They have to back up. Attitude being taken out, and the Magnetism is going to go in on the background, is going to find Cloak and Dagger, and they're going to try and look for this pick, but unfortunately, Cloak and Dagger is just going to move her way right on out of the cap shield, and it's just going to back up now. Invisible Boundary is available from, Epic does use it, and Linear tries to find it, but he doesn't find anything with the immediate Invisible Boundary coming in from FIU as well, and it's just, once again, we're going to be seeing an ult galore here. Internal Bond is coming slowly but surely on Fuego here. He has to build that up quickly, and Song Inferno was also used, but wasn't really able to find much as well. Now there's that Eternal Bond coming in, going to let FIU take some space and push things out, but it looks like Rush Hour is just going in and trying to shotgun her out, but she gets taken out. Rush Hour is out of the fight, and RU doesn't seem like are going to be able to hold us anymore, and FIU hold the line once again.
It's a story as old as time, one we saw very recently, just in game number 2. RU start on the attacking side. They do very good. They push all the way to the very end, but a massive fight, very strangely, also including Fuego popping the Cloak and Dagger ult to remove 2 in the backline. That exact situation happened on the Convergence map as well, just very strangely. But coming up massive when needed to prevent RU from getting that 3rd point. That gives FIU not just the opportunity to win this game, but to win it outright if they can practically make it all the way. But that is the challenge. They have to pretty much make it all the way. They have to get to point 3. Rutgers, they were looking really good on the whole. They were looking a little rough on the defense of the moving objective. We're going to see if maybe there's a change. They are opting not to go for the triple comp, instead going for the triple strategist, but with that one duelist. What we just saw from FIU, but instead of the Human Torch or, say the Bucky like we were seeing in the last game, we're seeing the Phoenix come out. Phoenix is good for the poke. Also, it has been talked about as one of the quote-unquote best melee heroes in the game, or best melee DPS, because so up close they can get so much value out of their burst damage. So I would not be surprised if this is a little bit more brawly from RU, a little bit different from FIU, but similar idea in effect.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be a big brawl, and already Dr. Strange is going to get hooked and uppercutted his way onto the enemy team. But, of course, triple support running on both teams is going to let them get a lot of heals, a lot of sustains. FIU is going to get a really good push going in. Dobby almost going to get taken out there by the looks of it, and it is just, both teams are going to be good. It is all up to Dobby right now to maybe find the hooks and find the picks, and it is just up to the Magneto and Strange to make sure he shield that, keep it away from happening. But this is just going to be a pure brawling comp, both teams. So this is like exactly what we saw happening in that first and second game. Kraken Impact is now being used and is going to get a pick. No, it doesn't. It looks like Zero Rain was able to get a pick, and Song Inferno is going to get that last hit onto Dobby. Already great work coming in from RU. Are going to push FIU all to the way back, and that's going to delay them a lot of time. As the Magneto falls, the stagger is going to be real. Natitude, unfortunately, body blocked by the Scarlet Snake. That is just going to give RU the tempo that they need to hold down the line.
Absolutely. Are you looking to unseat the champions here as they push them all the way back to their spawn door? That stagger is going to be massive, but we do see the rollout yet again. Dabi swapping over to that Hela. A little bit more focus on hit scan as a massive Ivo Agamotto gets into the back line, but they don't find any kills off of it as ults start getting traded back and forth.
Yeah, it's once again ult galore. Q, I see it, I press it. It's happening on both sides. RU gonna use the Soul Resurgence and the Meteor M, but doesn't really seem like he's gonna get too much value. Dabi does find a kill onto Atomic X, and that's exactly what they need now. They need these picks, they need these opportunities to get this push going on. Angry Crayon with the Groot as well is gonna be very useful in taking the space and also helping get all the picks that they need, because at the end of the day, when it comes to triple support against triple support, it just comes down on who can find the picks. But they have the Wolverine now. The Feral Leap is going to bring Groot into a really bad positioning, and it's going to be enough to take him down. Phoenix is going to do a lot of burst damage, and that's what Phoenix is so incredibly strong in this comp as well. With her passive, she's going to be able to stack up those Sparkling Phoenixes on everyone so incredibly fast and just do a lot of burst damage. It's going to make things tough for FIU to go in and just get this damage on. Maybe see a switch of comp now. There's the Fatal Prop Foils now being popped up from Rush Hour, but matched by Natitude, and I don't know, this is just looking extremely rough. And Song Inferno going to be used right here, maybe to try and get something. Does find Natitude, but that gives Rocket the opportunity to use the C, and Visceral Boundary now being used by, I don't know, Epic to try and defend up against Dabi's Goddess of Death, but the Meteor M barely finds the Magneto shield coming from Scarlet Snake just in time to save it.
Yeah, a lot of ults get traded, not a lot of ground being made either way, kills go back and forth. But in the end, it's still pretty much even as this Phoenix continues to just free farm on the side, continue to do massive damage, though the Strange does go down. That does mean there's the opportunity for a portal for RU if they end up losing this fight. And it looks like this fight is going to go their way. Zero Rain sitting on the point, doing what they can to keep the team alive here. It's a massive point from Scarlet Snake to keep the team's hopes alive, to stop them from getting point one.
Yeah, I mean, it's just FIU are gonna have to back up now. They have 30 seconds, and this is about to be the first game. RU are right there at to the edge, but FIU are just falling. Rush Hour getting that last hit onto linear triple support. It is just making it incredibly difficult for FIU to just go in and find any pressure, any picks at all. And honestly, with 15 seconds left, we have to see, we see a Doctor Strange coming in from Angry Crayon, and just, I don't know, it is just looking incredibly rough. This is the last fight. This is the one that we need. But the ult economy from RU is just insane. 3 support ultimates and an Eye of Agamotto. It's just FIU really have to need a miracle to get something. The Eye of Agamotto going to be popped up. Going to be able to find 2 of them. Source just coming in from RU once again. Goddess of Death might be what they need to just get a lot of damage here. But even the boundary is just go ahead and take it. Doctor Strange portal. Shield, I mean, of course, is just going to go ahead and block it. And it is just insane. But somehow, FIU are still in a fight. Getting that last pick. I fucking being popped up. Is going to only find the Magneto. The shield not going to be enough to save him. Angry Crayon just had to try and hold the line here. He's the last standing member from FIU. But no, it looks like RU are going to take the win and take the... and take FIU down. They taking the reigning champs down.
I mean, and it's also, I don't want to say it was clinical. I don't want to say it was one-sided, but RU just looked so good on that final map, not letting the reigning champions even get a point on the defense, or excuse me, on the attack. They just cannot stop it. And you mentioned it there, but the ult economy, they just did such a good job of rotating those ults and keeping what they didn't need to spend. So when we finally got to that final fight, they got that Strange portal out. FIU were thinking maybe we could just get back. We're gonna have time to get back. But it was 5 ultimates against none. Dabi, the only one sitting on an ult, but was still in the spawn on the death timer. It just meant they did not have enough firepower or even the means to out-sustain the pure damage that Rutgers could do. Rutgers get themselves over the line. We do see the stats here. Again, Dabi, 3 incredible games. Again, 45,000 damage, but this is why it is a team game and not an individual game. individual stats can always equal wins, as Rutgers, again, putting up some crazy stats. Zero Rain also with that 48k damage, 26 elims, 11 final hits. Man, Rutgers really showing a different side, really coming alive when needed most, and they take down the reigning champions in the process.
Yeah, and I mean, just already, this has just been a phenomenal game. I mean, first game being streamed here on the Collegiate Rivals Series Twitch channel, and it has just been an absolute cinema happening once again. I mean, Diatonic, my guy, I gotta know, man, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, yeah, I mean, this is the opening match of the season, and we just gave that away on free TV. It feels like something you would expect to see in the playoff bracket. I mean, not at all the outcome I was expecting. You know, it was a huge back and forth, lots of plays from both sides. I mean, this was not an easy win for Rutgers, but to take down the defending champs in your first time out in the series, I mean, that says a lot. Yeah. And you know, not to overlook FIU as well. They played very, very well. You know, Angry Crown on that Doctor Strange, that last map, like 79k damage blocked, some insane number that you expect to see, you know, at maybe an even higher level, something like Ignite level damage blocked. But I mean, yeah, just absolutely insane stuff from both teams. Very, very high level play. You know, they kind of were speaking the same language of, okay, we swap to this, so they'll swap to this. And, you know, this really beautiful match all came together. Unfortunately, just did not go FIU's way here to start things off.
This really felt like a chess match of a game, you could say. The adaptations and the changing of styles and the changing of compositions. Both these teams made so many changes on the fly that it didn't felt like this is not a game where you can go, oh yeah, Rutgers are the dive comp team. They are the best at the dive. They do dive really well, because they didn't just do dive really well. They did poke a little bit well. They did, you know, straight front to back very well. They did so many different things to get themselves over the line. And same for FIU. It's just they didn't have the means to deal with them at the very end. So I'm really impressed. Like you said, this is the first game of the season. If this is how we're starting, I can't wait to see what happens as we get later and the competition gets fiercer and fiercer, and people are looking and suddenly the eye that $2,500 and go, that's a possibility for me.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, this is the kind of matches you're going to see throughout the Collegiate Rivals Series as the fall split marches on. And as we march on here in today's broadcast, not quite done yet. Got one more feature match for me. The St. Clair Saints taking on Iowa Esports. But, you know, gotta catch your breath a little bit, you know, wipe the brow after that first match. So we're going to take a very short break. And don't go anywhere. We'll be back with some more Collegiate Rivals Series action right after this.
kiss. Tell me where to find light in my tunnel. 'Cause I see you want help me with control. I can't stop feeling you when I'm so deep. You were like ghost. Don't let me let go. 'Cause what would I do? What would I do without you? What would I do? What would I do without you? What would I do? What would I do without you? What would I do? What would I do?
Don't you go. You make my every cell flow, my every breath slow and cold. Yeah, that's how you make me feel I'm yours. You bring me up when I hear only radio static. Play me a song on repeat. Right now, you hit me like chemicals. I doubt I'm ever gonna let you go. To come down feels like a bitter antidote. Never let go, never let go, no. Right now, it feel like chemicals. Right now, never gonna let you go. To come down, like a bitter antidote, Never let go, never let go. Never let go, never let go. Never let go, never let go. Hey, don't you know? We all need someone to love, need someone to make it feel like home. You make me feel I'm home. You bring me up when I hear only radio static. Play me a song on repeat. You hit me like right now. You hit me like chemicals. I doubt I'm ever gonna let you go. To come down feels like a bitter antidote. Never let go, never let go, no. Right now, you hit me like chemicals. I doubt Stay, don't you go. You make my every cell flow, my every breath slow and cold. Yeah, that's how you make me feel I'm yours. You bring me up when I hear only radio static. Play me a song on repeat, on repeat. Right now, you hit me like chemicals. I doubt I'll ever gonna let you go. To come down feels like a bitter antidote. Never let go, never let go. No. Right now, hit me like chemicals. Right now, never gonna let you go. To come down like a bitter antidote, Never let go, never let go. Never let go, never let go. Hey, don't you know, we all need someone to love me, someone to make it feel like home. You make me feel I'm home. You bring me up.
Well, rivals, and welcome back into week number 1 of the Collegiate Rivals Series Fall Split. My name is Diatonic. I'm your host for this second and last feature match of the night, and I'm joined here by Rizzy and Soren. We just got off of a very intense match with the defending champions FIU Panthers falling victim to Rutgers University. Guys, that was quite a wild matchup there for the first game of this whole season.
Yeah, no, that was just absolute insanity. I mean, see, I like it's the same thing that I saw when I saw that FIU took down CPP Infinite. Like I was like, no way, they took down the champs like that. And like now I'm seeing that Rutgers like, no way, they just took down the champs like that. Like it has just already been insane.
Yeah, it also goes to show that like no one is safe. No, it doesn't matter who you are, how big of a team you are, how small of a team you are. Anyone can beat anyone on any given day. The competition is tight. That really did just set the entire pace, I think, for the rest of this series, the rest of the day, rest of this event.
Yeah, I mean, very tight competition. And that pool is growing, 28 teams joining this season, growing massively there, all taking a shot at that $2,500 insane prize pool there for this split alone. But yeah, so first match, we watched the Throne Breakers of Rutgers University take down FIU. But now we are going to move into the second feature match of the day, Pedigree University St. Clair Saints taking on Iowa Esports in this next matchup. Two teams with a lot of new faces, at least to me. But St. Clair Saints first up on the docket. I do believe that St. Clair, kind of a well-known university or organization in a lot of other esports, looking to make their mark here in the Collegiate Rivals Series as well. Lots of expectations for a team like that, no doubt, coming into to a new game and a new collegiate esports scene.
Yeah,
I mean, I see the
they're
Iron
a
Man.
very
I
well
love it.
respected, very well respected collegiate team. I know they are very big in the Call of Duty scene. I think they're one of the best teams in the tier 2 of the Call of Duty scene. Also, quite a few past and current tier 1 players for like the Valorant scene have come out of St. Clair University as well. So you're absolutely right. A team with a lot of pedigree. So even though these players might be new to maybe you or I or any of us, expect a lot because there's a lot of high expectations for a team of this caliber.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? Some of the things that happens in Rivals is like one of the things that I do see is a lot of names keep popping up from around. Like some names from stage 1 that we saw at Ignite. Probably some unknown names, but still set their mark in that scene. And then we saw the same thing with stage 2. And now over here, the Collegiate Rivals Series, I think we're definitely going to see the same thing. Excuse me. And like I think St. Clair definitely are gonna set their marks here, but it's just something we'll have to see.
Yeah, I mean, when you build that reputation for yourself as kind of a creator of tier 1 level esports athletes, no big surprise, a lot of expectations for them. But they are taking on Iowa Esports again. Same for me, kind of a new team here, but taking a quick look at them coming into this as well. You got to feel a little bit of pressure, especially if you follow the collegiate esports scene and you've heard the St. Clair name before, like you guys were talking about Valorant and Call of Duty. Coming into a new game, there's a lot of question marks, right? Of how do you handle a team like that. So Iowa is going to attempt to show us what they've got as well, and this is an opportunity, right? Like we talked about in the first match, something like the Collegiate Rival Series is a great opportunity to see who the next tier 1 players are going to be. In the collegiate scene of the entirety of Rivals, we already have some Ignite caliber players and some players playing in Ignite right now. But, we're kind of looking at, okay, Ignite's almost done for the year. We got one land left. Who is going to be next in line? So, any of these players from a team like Iowa or like St. Clair can kind of become the next in line, I would say.
And I mean, a lot of these players are, one above all, top 500. So there's a lot of talent on these teams and a lot of brain power too. This is a little thing that I noticed checking out their information. And I know Reezy mentioned it in, the first series of the day. I think at least everyone has their like majors or their like actual college listed. They're like engineers and computer science majors. They're all really, really intelligent on top of being ungodly good at the game. So this is maybe, while not as high profile names, a lot of expectations and a lot of high bars for these teams.
There's a clear difference when it comes to these teams. Like you said, I mean, they got engineering and everything. I go to a university where we're advertised as, come get your gaming degree. So, I mean, it's like a lot of shenanigans that happen, but yeah, I mean, St. Clair is like I've been saying before. Like I know, I was first introduced to them at the NACE Grand Finals. I think I was 2 years ago, if I'm not wrong, when they took on Maryville. And so I've kind of been following them a little bit after that. And it's just I remember seeing them a lot over here at the NACE Grand Finals because, as some people know, I'm here stationed in Florida, right next to Full Sail University, which is where a lot of these grand finals are held up in a little fortress. It's a little humble abode, but I do believe gameplay is loading up. So you know what? Are y'all ready?
Yeah, I mean, a lot to balance here for these collegiate athletes, classes and competitive and practice, but gonna see how these two teams handle each other as we are ready to get right into this second matchup. If you thought that first match was a lot more where that came from. So I'm gonna toss it off to you guys, and we are gonna get going here on map number 1, completely randomized map and mode. So be prepared for just about anything, maybe except Resource Rumble.
Absolutely.
Thank God,
There's only
too.
a couple of maps out of the pool that are not Resource Rumble, but it does look like we are going to be starting off on a convoy. It is going to be Araco, one of my favorite maps in the pool. A lot of variation here. I'm expecting a very different style from what we saw in any of the maps in the first series, as we do immediately see a Bucky ban. That is actually a little bit out of place. Bucky's not seen as a high priority ban for most teams.
I mean, looking at the hovers already from Iowa Esports, I mean, they have a Lord Hulk. So a Bucky man, I think definitely does make sense because, I think Bucky is one of Hulk's greatest enemies when it comes down to it, because of the fact that he can easily disposition him. And as being a friend with a great Hulk player, you know, Hulk, if you get dispositioned with him, it can completely throw you off tempo. You know, you get hooked by Bucky, great. You leap out, but then you get pulled in by Invisible Woman, great. You leap out, but then you die in the sky, and then you become Puny Banner and get jumped on by the Thing, Doctor Strange. It's just a true story, by the way. Like that has happened. It's just it is just insane. So I mean, I can see why they would get Bucky. Just his ability to take you out of position, I think, is what brings a lot of downfall to a lot of these games. Because you know, you get hooked, uppercutted by Bucky, you're gone.
Yeah, and to be completely fair, we are seeing pretty standard bans past that Bucky pick. It doesn't look like there's too much focus from either of these teams, as it looks like we do have one ban for Gone. Looks like they may try to handshake the other way. Maybe there was an issue not being able to select it, but possibly a mag ban. But across the board, I think pretty much a pretty universal idea of what teams want to do. We do see that Ultron ban away, you know, again, targeting that triple strategist. There's obviously other pieces for that composition, but Ultron is one of the scariest ones, some of the highest damage options for that triple support. You know, the Emma ban protects. Emma is still super strong despite recent nerfs. While we do see that Human Torch, I was going to mention that St. Clair, one of their DPS, very well known for their Human Torch play. So to see that get banned away, not surprising. This actually almost surprised to see that it wasn't one of the protects coming out of it, but I guess the pool's a little bit smaller for the strategist and Vanguard, so St. Clair are opting to try to keep that pool a little bit wider rather than, you know, go for the guaranteed protect on the Human Torch.
Yeah, and then it looks like, you know, both teams gonna protect that Luna Snow. Of course, I mean, still one of the strongest supports in the game, despite also getting nerfed. You know, that ultimate nerf, I think, definitely hit her a bit, but she's still one of the strongest. So I don't know. We're just gonna go ahead and see it. And a Star-Lord, you know, I think it's one that we haven't seen at all in the Collegiate Rivals Series. You know, I mean, I feel like we have seen a Star-Lord every now and then, but I mean, not really wildly played. And a lot of Lords coming in on Iowa Esports. So that's how you know they have a lot of time on these heroes.
Yeah, Star-Lord, like you said, probably has not gotten a lot of play, at least on the CRS. But right now in the Ignite, I think pretty much in the Ignite series, across the world, in every region almost, Star-Lord is getting so much play. The ultimate can just be gained so quickly. It's a very similar situation to like Wolverine, but a lot, you know, faster pace, a little bit more of a flyer, as well as hit scan rather than a melee DPS. But you just get the ultimate so quickly, you can rack it up so fast, and the legendary is so influential. It can just absolutely eviscerate someone if you space yourself out properly. If anyone, you know, even in an ult, when paired up with another large, you know, one-hit burst damage ult, it can pretty much just execute anyone through the healing as well. So not surprised to see it. I'm actually almost surprised that we have not seen more Star-Lords yet today.
Yeah, and you know, it's just, already Crack Smoke is going to start it off by taking Astral out. We saw the turret was posted up there in the middle, but you know, it didn't really seem like it was able to get too much going on. But the Hulk going to find himself in a really bad position, going to get thrown down by the enemy Hulk. Crack Smoke going to bring him down, but the heal's coming in just enough to save him, and he gets out. I mean, that was excellent. Infernal Tower Squid is up there for St. Clair's, and yeah, it just seems like UI, are going to get a pretty small push, but St. Clair are kind of getting a push themselves as well, and being able to take in a little bit of space, but it's just looking kind of rough around these parts. I mean, already the group is at practically halfway through now. Now, this part is where it's going to be kind of dangerous. Any disposition would be bad. There's the Horn and the Jeff Ultimate now being dished out. Is going to be able to get 3 of them. That is going to give Iowa a lot of opportunities to get more of this space in, as St. Clair gets absolutely wiped.
Yeah, Iowa using the triple support composition to great effect and using the environmental factors to keep them in the game, get that point. They cannot prevent this portal from coming out. There's a lot of ultimates to be invested here from both teams.
The 3-man Eye of Agamotto. We saw Hulk did go in. He did use the World Breaker Hulk. We saw he did also try to stop this Doctor Strange portal. Oh! Some hero getting grabbed last second by the World Breaker Hulk ultimate and being taken out. And I mean, Yeah, we saw, I mean, Crack Smoker went in and tried to exile the Doctor Strange portal. A really good read coming in from here. Was able to realize that, hey, wait, they're doing a Doctor Strange TP. But thankfully, the Namor, hopefully planned, was able to go ahead and block it. But even then, it didn't matter. Was able to deny some time, but still, it's just looking incredibly rough. Crack Smoker finds the Namor, does go and try and maybe take him down. But, you know, one of the best things about Hulk is just the ability to just go in and then go out. Almost similar to, like, Winston, but just, I think, more rewarding, honestly, because despite not doing an incredible amount of damage, it's still just a lot to just disperse and, I don't know, just make it tough, because it's just, you can play Hulk dive, and you can also kind of play him in the front line, though. I mean, I don't really think that's wise, but I don't know, this Hulk v Hulk matchup, it is just gonna go insane. Worldbreaker Hulk and Final Judgment now gonna be popped up from St. Clair. Is gonna be able to find one, does maybe try to find two, but it is matched with the fate across both worlds. And I mean, it looks like he did grab the mat, he did grab the Mantis, and there's the Worldbreaker Hulk now being ended. But St. Clair finally finding the edge, finding the temple here as a double kill coming in from the Holy Juan is gonna be able to take him out.
Yeah, UI push back a little bit there. The massive ult coming out from some hero to completely isolate a couple of fights. It means UI have to completely back away and play this a little safe, especially because this overhang is a very tight, narrow hallway to fight in and around. The choke is just so difficult to push through, but the ultimates are in play, and that should help get through the choke point, but I don't know if they're going to get the kills to really have a say beyond that.
Yeah, I mean, oh, and unfortunate Jeff Ultimate was unable to find his way onto the top. Did kind of make it, but here's a Dark Child now coming in from Iowa State, along with Worldbreaker Hulk, and also the Jeff Ultimate too, kind of just sticking around there, maybe for the heals, but it is just going to go ahead and let them deny a lot of space here. Does get the grab onto the Namor, and I don't think they're going to be able to keep him alive. JJ, though, is able to find a double kill on Iowa State, and St. Clair Clover, I believe, is just going his way onto the backline, going to be able to get the exile onto the Hulk and just finds his eyes onto the Jeff. Is going to go ahead and back up, as you don't really want to overextend here, but I think already just a lot of space and a lot there's the Iron Man. I love to see it, but yeah, space is just being great taken. And you know, at this point of the map as well, I think is where a lot of ties always shift, because of the fact that defenders will always have such a great high ground. You know, it's just, I think at this part is when it gets a little bit rough for the attackers to just try and really get the space properly. But oh, Clover, unfortunately, oh, never mind, the Worldbreaker Hulk.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. The narrow hallway and the tight choke points make it a very difficult spot to push through for the attackers. It's not going to deter them from trying, but the Iron Man ultimate coming up massive. Astral finding that pick onto the back line. We do see that it's Jeff coming out as well. It's going to find one. It's going to isolate the Hulk. Will die, but has completely repositioned the Hulk, get him out of the fight as this continues to fight on.
Yeah, the even full pulse cannon is going to be just enough to take out the Mantis there in that fight and give them the advantage. But Iron Man, unfortunately, was taken out here, just like in Endgame. Is going to be moved on right back to spawn, and the Soul Resurgence is going to be enough to get a push going on. Now, Emma Frost did manage to grab her, but the damage, I think, is just lacking a bit. Never mind, as the Namor gets the headshot and is able to take him out. Now, Doctor Strange is there. He's pushing this up. They have a portal up and available already, I think. But the Worldbreaker Hulk and also Kraken Impact coming in from Iowa State might be what they need. Oh, but the exile is gonna delay a bit from the Hulk. But even then, Ayamagamoto being popped up is gonna get the stun on the Iron Man, and I think Iowa State are gonna have the util that they need to go in and get the second point. 40 seconds left onto the clock for them. Hulk turning back onto Puny Banner. There's a Kraken Impact to just finalize it. JJ giving him the reset, and he's looking for more. Does find a reset onto Namor. Does find one onto Hulk, and now onto Bruce Banner. As there it is. Iowa State claimed the second point with 24 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to get the point, but that's a lot of time wasted, and point 2 does significantly give less points, or excuse me, less time than point number 1, so they're going to have just under about 1:40 to make it all the way to point 3, and this is kind of that death nail. This is the hardest spot to push on this entire map. This is where attacks are broken here, as you do see IU immediately losing a Vanguard, the Strange having to get sent back to base, as yet again SCC are just doing such a good job at rotating their ult to push back this offensive pressure from UI.
Yeah, 1 minute and 10 seconds left. Iowa State finally get control back onto the point. Unfortunately, Hulk is going to get taken out. Clover getting stunned. A little bit of overkill there, but it does look like Crack Smoker was trying to find the Iron Man. He's just hippity-hopping his way on over to him. Unibeam and Repulsor is not going to be enough. He tries to make his way back into the point, but unfortunately just wasn't able to. But it looked like the overextend from the Hulk might just be their downfall, as he does get returned over to Puny Banner. But I don't know, it's looking like he's going to be able to hide against the tree just long enough, but it's taken out by the Namor.
Yeah, they tried to stagger, but with the Born again, they might be able to get him back for free. JJ is going to find one, try to level out the playing field. Doesn't get revived as well. It's a lot of ultimates invested. And Astral does get sedated there, but no one's able to find the pick, as the Invisible Woman barrier is just too much healing to overcome.
Yeah, it's just incredibly unfortunate there. Iron Man getting the kill onto the Mantis, and even then, unable to get able to find the last pick. Now, this is it. This is the last fight that Iowa State are going to have in their hands. They have the Doctor Strange portal, and they use it right there onto the overtime here. This Worldbreaker Hulk now being used from Clover. Remember, they have Phantom Rolls, they have the Horn, and there it is. They use it. The stuns coming in is going to give them the advantage that they need to go in and push on back. Fade across both worlds, going to give a little bit of a damage boost, but Worldbreaker Hulk from Crack Smoker is up and available, and might be what they need to try at the latest. There it is. Worldbreaker Hulk being popped from Iowa State. Gonna try and just stay on that point and try and cover the extra health. Might just barely be enough for them to come back. We see that Spider-Man coming through to just try and get the overtime just a little bit, but no. Unfortunately, does hit the rock.
Yeah, it's just not enough to get it over the line. This is the third mobile objective map that we've seen where the team that starts on the attack doesn't get to point 3 but gets super close to it, to like the final corner within like 20 meters of the end. So again, another really close convoy / convergence map, as we see SCC now swapping over to the attack side. Doesn't look like too much in terms of any swaps. We do see Astral hovering the Squirrel Girl, which is certainly a choice. Definitely not one that we typically see, but obviously on this map, a lot of tight, narrow hallways, Squirrel Girl, and the AoE damage that she brings to the table can find a lot of value, even if it is not the quote meta pick. But besides that, we see pretty much a similar layout. We had the Emma, we got the Hulk, we got the Namor, that double strategist line for SCC. Meanwhile, UI, I mean, we do see the Magneto now come out. We do see that swap over to the Bucky. We're now seeing that triple strategist. Same strategist lineup, mind you, as SCC brought out with that Mantis and the Jeff. That Jeff, especially on this first point, can find so much value because of the environmental factors. The amount of places that Jeff can just kind of jump off the side with the itch Jeff, it can find so much value. We can completely turn the sides of a fight.
Yeah, most definitely. And real quick, I'd just like to give a bit of apologies. I was just informed that it is University of Iowa, not Iowa State, so I apologize for that profusely. But now, we jump back into the game. University of Iowa are going to go ahead and start getting this defense on it. They're going to start getting this defense on it, as St. Clair now has to defend this push. It has to attack and make sure that their push doesn't get halted at all. The Magneto definitely is going to be a bit of a menace, as we see already JJ getting taken out. University of Iowa is jumping right in. I mean, they have the Magneto for the front line, and they have the Hulk and Bucky for the dive. But look at the push coming in, gets a double kill from Typical, able to just push them both off of the map.
Yeah. Coming up massive there, removes two big factors. The Mantis, one of the better healers, as well as one of the best DPS available to them with this triple strategist line going away. Plus one on the Bucky means there's not a lot of damage to be shared. Cloudy tries to do something, but dies in the itch Jeff, as SCC continue to march on as they look like they want to secure this point 1 early. And oh no, they're just trapped in the corner. They're sustaining, but how long can they hold out?
Here's a Soul Resurgence, bouncing over the Kraken Impact coming in from the University of Iowa. Is going to be able to get a lot of value for their Meteor M being dished down to control and find Invisible Woman. And he does with the 180 flick, finds both Typical and JJ. and Dottie being able to just do an insane 180 onto both supports is going to give University of Iowa the chance that they need to just hold this push. He makes it a quadra kill, gonna make the seed, try and find a pentakill, but the 2 supports he took out are the ones that aren't able to make it. So yeah, that was just an insane play coming from University of Iowa.
Call him LeBron, because that was an insane dunk to find 2, and that does give them a lot of time taken off the clock. UI doing a very good job to hold and push back SCC here. As the repush does come through, they do have some ultimates to invest, including the World Breaker, which we just see come out from the hole. Not really finding much yet. Both being traded as, man, the backline being targeted for both teams.
Yeah, I mean, the Namor being able to get a double kill now and make it a triple kill is going to hold University of Iowa back by just a little bit, but the Hulk, World Breaker Hulk, is going to be enough to take down the Invisible Woman, so that's going to be a support down, and he locks eyes onto the Luna Snow, tries to find her, and might just be able to right here, but unfortunately for him, Emma Frost made it right on time to protect her supports, and it's going to set them back. It is going to allow St. Clair to click this first point now, and moving on great time as well, 3 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah, a lot better time than what we saw the University of Iowa have. They, obviously had about 2 minutes 30 seconds after getting point 1. So SCC in a little bit better position there. It's not going to be a make or break, I don't think, because UI are doing a very good job at holding despite the pressure from SCC. These Hulks are just right. Actually, they're going to have a brawl. I was going to say they're focused so much onto the back line that both strategist lines are struggling, but they're just fighting it out in the front now as the Itch Jeff does come through. It's going to find 3 again. A massive tide turner if Cloudy can get out.
That was just incredibly unfortunate for St. Clair. I mean, we did see Cloudy did try to maybe see if he could go on the high ground again, but I mean, I think the range just wasn't there, but he was able to find St. Clair. I mean, the Punisher, the Namora, and the Luna were just sitting right there onto the Groot, and oh, they're trying to melee the banner. That's both gonna stagger him and also be just so sad. But yeah, the triple ulti coming from the Jeff, being able to stall out just enough and find them on the point is just gonna take them all back.
Alrighty, the second or now third push here for this point number 2, as it is chaos here. UI getting pushed back a little bit from the pressure from St. Clair. They are going to find the opening pick. Astral swapping over to the Punisher. It's going to gun someone down. The World Breaker yet again. Just so many of them use this game, invest it, but I don't know if it's going to find anything. But it sure disrupts that back line. Also sends one up towards the front line of SCC.
Yeah, World Breaker Hulk was used, but the ult economy on both sides is just looking great right now. All ultimates available on St. Clair's side, except for Hulk, which was just used, but Clover finds himself in a little bit of a tough spot. There's that horn coming in, though. It's going to get a stun and is going to let them get Watt. But Cloudy, Luna Snow is just using the ultimate once again and is trying to find him and does find both the Emma and also the Namor. And he's going to take them all the way out. But Astral, now the final judgment, is going to be using it and might be able to find a pick here. But oh! The Jeff, unfortunately, shoots and he misses and he's going to get taken out. Not without the Namor getting taken out by the Bucky, but World Breaker Hulk gonna take Astral out, but right there, right at the edge of the point, unfortunately, Kraken Impact is gonna take some hero out, and University of Iowa is gonna stall out just enough. And honestly, might be able to stall this out right here. Gonna get a good stagger on the Invisible Woman, almost. But the hook onto the banner is gonna be so inconvenient for St. Clair.
Yeah, Cloudy not getting the kills, but does enough to separate 2 key pieces from St. Clair. So the rest of the push fails. Now with 30 seconds left on the clock, SCC do notably not have a Doctor Strange. So whoever falls first in this next fight, if anyone falls, does have the option for that last minute swap and portal play. But it might not even be needed, as typical Sabas finds Watt. That's a lot of damage going to be missing from the University of Iowa.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to be jumping into overtime here. There's a Soul Resurgence coming in from Crimley from the University of Iowa and matching it with a middle boundary on St. Clair's side. There's a Jet Ultimate using a one again. Is going to find both a Puncher and a Luna Snow. Now, Magneto and Luna Snow going to be shot right on back, but that's going to be 2 of your members down and out as he will not miss this time. Now, JJ is going to obviously fall down. By Astral with the final judgment, being able to get the revenge and take down the Jeff, but unfortunately going to take it down himself. This could be it right here. Meteor being popped up is going to be Gamma shielded out, but it's all up to Hulk to try and defend it just enough for the portal to come in, and it does come in right on time. Worldbreaker Hulk, though, is popped up, is going to send Hulk back to the banner, but the C9 is going to be just enough to send it over to game 2.
And the University of Iowa stops the push and takes map 1. Almost a tragedy there as St. Clair, they get the portal off, but because the Hulk loses the Hulk form, fun fact, during that transition period from going from Hulk to Banner, you do not count as an entity on the cart, and that amount of time is just enough for them to break the overtime, get their points, and take the map. I mean, it was an absolute brawl from start to finish. Gotta look at the Hulks. 52k block damage, 43k block damage, 20, yeah, right around 22k damage dealt. Some of the best in the lobby. These Hulks were absolutely driving both teams, but at the end of the day, Iowa draw the first blood.
I mean, this is just what we talked about earlier, and why, you know, the Bucky would be banned, because this positioning there just gave University of Iowa such an advantage.
Yeah, and I mean that kind of the midpoint there of checkpoint number 2, you know, it kind of, that ramp is kind of the uphill of doom for a lot of offensive pushes. You know, you see matches on Araco kind of grind to a halt there, and that's pretty much what we saw. I mean, you know, the defensive spawn is not that far away, and you have the high ground as soon as you walk out the door. I mean, it's really tough to get past that point. And I feel like Iowa handled it pretty well on their offensive run, and I think that kind of gave them the leg up that let them push this thing to the end and take the win here on map number 1.
Yeah, they did struggle a little bit, which is, I mean, more of an indicator of how tough that point 2 is. The high ground really cannot be understated. But in the end, they were able to break through. And once they broke through, they did a very good job, only kind of stumbling at the very end. But they broke through that point 2. And once they switched over to the defense, I mean, that hold was, it almost felt clinical. They were doing such a good job of rotating the ultimates. I mean, it also helps when you are just getting ultimates back so quickly. I want to know, I want someone to go back and count how many Hulk ults we got in that game. It felt like they just never stopped coming out. I think we definitely broke double digits there.
I mean, I'm still stunned by that 180 we saw the Magneto do. Like, can we please talk about that real quick? Are we just not gonna acknowledge that phenomenal 180 Beatty flick?
Yeah, I was going to bring it up. Dottie is kind of Himothy, the himulation. I mean, bro is literally the master of magnetism. That was it. That 4K he had, absolutely insane. I mean, you know, that again, that is like pro level Magneto plays.
Yeah, that is straight from the scenes of Ignite. I mean, I the amount of times we've heard that LeBron call that I said is unimaginable, just because the Magneto players just feel like a different breed. They are just, they are either sometimes ranked. Every time they're on my team, they seem like the worst player in the game. But every time we see them on an actual team and a team setting, God, Magneto players are just ungodly good. They can make or break team fights. So yeah, massive performance from them and Magneto. I'm waiting for the nerf into the ground because, man, Magneto's been super good for super long, but also very, very fun to watch.
Yeah, well, you know, big win for Iowa there. Map number 1, Araco belongs to them, but we are ready to keep this thing rolling. Iowa on match point now as we toss it over to map number 2, and I believe this is going to be St. Clair's pick, and they are going with Yggdrasil Path. Not a big surprise. Again, we see this almost every single series, but yeah, some convoy action here yet again. So, you know, I feel like St. Clair, they were very close to that second checkpoint, and who knows what would have happened if they had hit it. So I think they're comfortable with the moving objectives here. They're just going to stick with it.
I
It's
mean,
also a very different
don't see why.
vibe from Araco as well. Now you can go ahead. Yeah, I've been talking a lot. You go ahead.
I mean, Yggdrasil's path. I mean, I feel like it's just been just that one map, and I kind of want to jump back on what we were talking earlier about Magneto a little bit. Like, I feel like Magneto and his whole entire kit is like Magneto's just one of those characters that they're easy to understand. Like, oh, okay, I have a shield. Oh, okay, my ult sucks things up and then throws it back, damage. But I feel like it's just easy to understand but hard to master, and because it's like I said earlier, like my teammates when they play Magneto, it's like it's not the master of magnetism anymore; it's the master of plastic. But then we see we see plays like that, and it's just phenomenal play styles, phenomenal plays, and I think it's just the fact that the skill ceiling to properly utilize Magneto is just all the way up.
Yeah,
Absolutely. They kind of
no,
tie
go ahead,
it to
Soren. I don't want to cut you off.
Yggdrasil's path a little bit. It's all good. To tie it to Yggdrasil's path a little bit, I mean, we talked about it in the first series, but the triple support, triple Vanguard line, we didn't see it in the last game. I would not be surprised if we saw it this game. It is still very much the meta, and I feel like Magneto is kind of a key piece of that. I mentioned before, one of, if not just the best shielding tanks in the entire game. The amount of value that the Magneto brings, it really does help just enable that entire composition when also paired with a Penny, because we talked about that in series 1 as well, who is a lot more attack minded, a lot more DPS focused. So having a Magneto that's very strong on the defensive end kind of helps complement that. So you're absolutely right. Magneto, really good. It is one of those heroes that have a low skill floor, but an ungodly high skill ceiling, excuse me. So I'm expecting to see a lot of Magneto play here on Yggdrasil's path as well.
Yeah, I mean, his damage output potential is through the roof, but it's very dependent on your aim too, right? That right click can be notoriously difficult to land, and I mean, he has the potential, but you have to be able to utilize it. I think that's why you see a lot of the pros being able to pull it off well, and then when we have a Magneto on our team, bro is an aluminum can versus actual sheet metal. So yeah, that's a big part of it, and I question whether or not we're going to see a Magneto ban come out. A season or two ago, if you recall, every single draft phase was ban Magneto, ban Emma, and then try to save her for yourself. So we might be going back to that a little bit, but we are going right back into this matchup between the St. Clair Saints and the University of Iowa here. Map number 2, ready to go for some more convoy action, this time the classic Yggdrasil path. So let's get it underway here. I will leave it to you guys.
All right,
we will just have to wait and see if that prediction comes true from Diatonic, if we see any bans for Magneto.
I mean, I think Magneto ban, I think of course it would make sense, but at the same time, I think what we really ban out here is the Hulk. I think that's something that we should prioritize getting out, because I mean, Rack Smoker, we just saw he was just able to completely utilize his kit phenomenally, being able to go in on the back and then go in on the front and just be all over the place, take them out. World Breaker, Hulk, smash, clap, the shield. What is happening? It's just doing a whole lot of shenanigans around. But Iowa State, University of Iowa, University of Iowa, oh my god. University of Iowa gonna go ahead and protect the Hulk here, actually.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, especially because Hulk on the third point is extremely valuable. It's a little bit more closer quarters actually on the ground, but has a lot of space up top overhead, which does make way for flyers, but that also does mean there's a lot of room for Hulk to be jumping around, be able to get to the back line, and because some of those areas are so tight, you can get a lot of value out of his exile. So to see the Hulk protect, not too surprising, because like you said, both teams utilize the Hulk to great effect. I would not be surprised if Iowa immediately matches with a ban here, especially as the Magneto Protect comes out from St. Clair. Again, high value ban in the way from Iowa. Keep it for yourself. And I think they'll take that all day of the week. Both teams say no go for the Human Torch. They don't want to deal with it. While Iowa also go for that Emma ban. Again, not too that surprising because Emma is still one of the best Vanguards in the game, and it looks like we are not going to get the signature Cloudy Jeff. They say, nope, one too many It's Jeffs removed 2 or 3 players from the fight last time around. We're not going to give you that tool again. So they can still go for that triple strategist line. They'll just have to pick up a different main third DPS to have for their composition.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? Iconic doing a great prediction. We saw like they did ban out that Magneto. So you know what? Call him Doctor Strange. He saw all 14 million possibilities and picked the right one. But of course, the Jeff being banned as well. You know, I mean, we saw how well he was being able to do with the, you know, using the Jeff ultimates whenever it got to overtime. You know, just being able to take out 3 members or even just 2. Everything just, you know, made it, because this is a team game. You know, any sort of a dispositioning tool like the Jeff Ultimate and the Bucky is going to make things a bit hard for you, because yeah, that's the main goal of these people, I believe. Like Bucky, you know, he wants to do damage, but he also wants to take people out and disposition them and just make it just incredibly difficult for them to just get back in a fight. And just because when you go into these games, you have a set game plan. Like, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to play front to back. But then, you know, say a Punisher gets hooked by the Bucky, it ruins the whole tempo, it ruins the game plan, and then you have to improvise. And so that's one of the things that I think Astral here is going to try and do, just make sure that he can put a lot of pressure on Iowa to just not to just not get this position, and just make sure that, like, okay, we can stop this Hulk and keep him in place and just, you know, protect our back line. You take the front line to protect the back line.
Yeah, we do see St. Clair on this defensive side opting not to go for the triple. They are going for the pretty bog standard 2-2-2, so not even a triple strategist like we saw them run before. It seemed like there was a little bit of you know, a back and forth between the team on what they wanted to do. I saw some hero hovering the Hulk, which is still available to them. That was not banned away, so no need to protect it in the end. But instead, they go for this strange Magneto, so double shielding front line for them, so a lot of protection, a lot of defensive capability, but a little bit more heavy poke or more backline presence with the Bucky and the Hela. Meanwhile, Iowa, they picked up the Hulk. They do also have the triple support with the Ultron and the Mantis. Used a great effect in the last game. They're going to use it again as some hero immediately falls.
Yeah, I mean, St. Clair is already getting pushed out extremely back. Already halfway through University of Iowa. Just gonna go ahead and get a phenomenal push going in. They do lose the magic, but even then, it doesn't really seem like they care or that it even matters, as they are still getting such a great push going on here. I mean, losing the Strange early on made things really rough, I think, for St. Clair to be able to hold on to the front line, with the Hulk being able to dive in onto the back line, and also you gotta worry about the magic now. And also Ultron, I mean, the Rage of Ultron was popped up, but there's the Holy Juan with the double kill, being able to stop the Rage of Ultron, and now we see an instant swap over to Adam Warlock. So they're going to go to Autumn Warlock Mantis. They're going to have that Karmic Revival, I think is the correct pronunciation of it. But they are going to have the Revival, so they're going to have that second chance in case we come back into, you know, a really close overtime here.
Yeah, 2 minutes, 40 seconds left on the clock. Still plenty of time for the University of Iowa to push through. But St. Clair doing a very good job at holding this line between the pillar and the corner. Meteor M and multiple ults being invested. Meteor M does find target, but doesn't actually get the kill. But the Holy One is going to use the Goddess of Death, find at least one. Now UI in a rough position here.
Yeah, I mean, Worldbreaker Hulk is going to get that last hit onto Cloudy. And now I think it's just, I mean, not Cloudy. I believe it was the Invisible Woman. I was looking at the kill feed, but yeah, he's gonna get taken out onto banner form here, and they're just gonna make quick work of him, or not. They're just gonna ignore him. Doctor Strange might be able to get the last pick, but yeah, it looks like yeah, they are gonna ignore the puny banner and just kind of stagger him just a little bit. But here we see Watt with the Wolverine now, waiting patiently, just gonna try and hop onto someone and just kidnap him, send him all the way back over to his teammates. And it seems like he found his prey with the Magneto. Does find him, does kidnap him, but doesn't really seem like they're gonna be able to get the kill, as the bubble is gonna be enough to save him, but not for long. As we see, Naughty was able to find that last pick, and Doctor Strange, Eye of Agamotto being popped up, does find 3 of them, but he's easily taken out. The Wolverine doing a great amount of damage, but we see Bucky making quick work out of Hulk, and it's just all up to the Hela to get this picks and get this last hit. But with the Phoenix and Wolverine combo, that lifesteal is gonna make things harder for you because you can't kill the Wolverine. Oh,
Yeah. The Eye of Agamotto finds 2 strategists, but it's just not enough damage from the 1 Vanguard to really do anything or have a say. And in the end, UI take advantage of the lack of a Vanguard, but we do see the portal play come through here. Multiple ults invested, trying to stay on this point, as St. Clair are desperately trying to prevent them from getting the singular point.
yeah, it's just very unfortunate. We saw the Wolverine trailer try to use that last stand to try and get the Hela out of the invisible boundary, but unfortunately for him, was unable to find a proper opportunity to kill it. And University of Iowa are gonna find himself in a little bit of a halt here, as St. Clair is able to hold them for just long enough to delay it all the way down almost 10 seconds. So you're gonna have 2 minutes and 40 seconds left on the clock here now to get the second point.
I just want to say that got us that the Hela ultimate there would have found that DPS in the back line, but the second to last shot that she had hit falling rubble, so it did not land, and they got away with like a quarter of the health remaining. That fight could have turned if that shot just actually landed, but now we see point 2 being fought for, and it's super aggressive as they're fighting all the way back towards the end, but in the end, Iowa seem like they're gonna clean this up. It's just gonna be practically a full wipe. So much time being spent holding this at such a high, line that the card's practically at the end of point 2 already. So at least already over halfway.
It's just insane. The University of Iowa is just doing a phenomenal job of holding St. Clair back. And I mean, unfortunately, some hero did miss the Eye of Agamotto. Tried to go for the Bruce Banner, but I think it was able to find anything. It's just the Wolverine and Phoenix combo is just making quick work of the front line and just leaving the back line incredibly vulnerable. There's 3M coming in from Clover now. Is going to try and find something, but unfortunately not able to get the 180 baity flick like we saw earlier. And it's just looking really rough for St. Clair here, but they do have a great hold now. They are able to bring it back out of the death now. Being popped up by that Holy Juan. Eternal Bond was also popped up from Cloudy though, so it's going to make things rough. They are holding on to the point just barely, but yeah, it doesn't seem like St. Clair are going to be able to hold it anymore. University of Iowa claimed that second point. 2 minutes and 35 seconds left onto the clock. It is just going to be a really tough game here.
Not an amazing point there from St. Clair. I mean, they get staggered and they get pushed back and they don't get a full team fight to the very end, which makes it so difficult, especially as pretty much one fight decided that point, unlike in point number 1. But now that we're on 3, we see it continue, and yet again, University of Iowa are just pushing them back all the way back to their spawn doors immediately. They're not giving St. Clair any room to breathe. We do see them pop ultimates. They have a foothold, but what can they do against the pressure of Iowa?
Here you have Agamotto being popped up, is able to find both the Hulk and the Brooklyn Dagger. Astral using the Kraken Impact now is able to find the Emma Frost, and he's unable to really find anything more, as look at Crimley being able to get a double kill with the burst damage coming in from the Phoenix passive, but easily getting taken out by Typical over there, and it's just gonna be a really tough battle over here because any small mistake could lead to just imminent danger. Oh, does manage to grab Doctor Strange, so last time being popped up onto the backline, gonna be able to take out the Invisible Woman. And I don't know, right now it's just Watt still hasn't lost that Wolverine passive, and it's just been in great standings. There's a little boundary coming in from University of Iowa now to just help and secure this last point. I mean, Clover with the Meteor M is gonna try and find something but the shield from the Hulk will be enough to save their Emma Frost. 1 minute is still left, and they're right there, right at the edge of the border. Watt finds his way onto Astral. Astral is taken out, finds his way onto the Hela and onto the Invisible Woman. But the Invisible Boundary to get him just in clutch is going to be able to buy some time for St. Clair to maybe go and try and deny this. But now imagine it with an Eternal Bond from Cloudy. It is just not going to be enough. University of Iowa are here. They're here right now to try and take this last point. There's the World Breaker Hulk is going to be enough to finish it off, and University of Iowa take the second map. Or the first round, I mean, not map.
First round secured in a 3-0 fashion. I mean, 30 seconds also left on the clock, which means if we do go to overtime, they'll have a minute and just under 40 seconds. That is a good amount of time. It's not, it's not crazy. It's not like they're going to have like 2-3 minutes to work with, but any extra time on the clock in an overtime scenario is good. St. Clair going to have a really good attacking side here. University of Iowa doing a really good job at just constantly putting pressure, making St. Clair uncomfortable, making it very difficult for them to push up and take any ground. The moment they would win a fight and they would get that point, they would immediately take so much ground that St. Clair were not even fighting on point. They weren't really ever after point one fighting on top of the cart. They were constantly fighting back towards their spawn doors or back towards the midway point of point 3 or point 2, and it makes it very difficult to really get a foothold when you're not even fighting for the objective at that point. You're just fighting to have a say in that round. So very good, half from the University of Iowa. Intrigued to see how this unfolds in the end. It doesn't look like too many swaps. Watt's still on that Wolverine. We do have the double strategist. We have a 2-2-2 for University of Iowa. Seems like very similar from St. Clair, but we do see Astral swapping over to that Iron Man. Maybe a little bit of burst damage, some flyers could help get them over the line.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully. I mean, St. Clair already at 39 seconds would be left at University of Iowa. But oh my god, the grab coming in from Watt is gonna be enough to get him out of position, but he's gonna pop his passive forward. It's just this Wolverine and Phoenix combo, the lifesteal coming out Wolverine is just gonna make things incredibly tough for him. Astral gonna get shot on down, the stun coming in onto him. He's just, the Hulk Exile, I think, just stunned him up, and it just left Wolverine up there right for the taking. A free Iron Man taking him out. But the Hulk coming from Clover, unfortunately, just pushed on down. The blind coming in from Cloak, and then just unable to get anywhere, just completely body blocked by Hulk, Emma Frost, and even Wolverine. That was just an extremely tough position to be in. No way out of that, absolutely just slammed down. But St. Clair still have a chance to go and push this out. They just have to find the right angle. They have to get these picks going on, and almost getting one on Emma Frost there too, but it's just looking incredibly rough. They can't find the opportunity that they need, and the Iron Man gets grabbed by Wolverine.
Yeah, very brawly composition from the University of Iowa. This is exactly where they want to be, right in and amongst the action. As the fighting continues, both Invisible Woman, Invisible Barriers invest at the exact same time. They'll counteract as University of Iowa's health bars are getting very low. I don't know if the healing output's going to be enough as the Holy One comes up massive with 3, but they're masked by the University of Iowa. This fight's going to continue as Clover tries to find some advantage.
Yeah, it is going to be a Hulk versus Hulk matchup now. World Breaker Hulk just ended for Crack Smoker, but it is still available for Clover. Ult economy looking really great on St. Clair's side, so this could be the push. This could be the edge that they need to try and claim this. Now, Clover, I think, is going to go and try and just disarray and disposition everybody as he jumps in on a 1v5 situation and maybe try and World Breaker Hulk his way onto it. Banner does come out on Crack Smoker, though, so that's another tank down. Emma Frost side Sound of Seduction being popped out isn't really going to be able to get too much value, though, by the looks of it. World Breaker Hulk is now being popped up. Ultimates all over St. Clair's side. The double kill coming in from the Iron Man. And then the Holy Juan going to finish it off and take down the Invisible Woman. Hulk is going to get smashed by himself, and it's just not looking good as he turns onto Banner.
Yeah.
Hulk smash, and then Hulk Exile going to stagger him out.
Yeah, that is the one downside of the Hulk pick. It's super convenient. It's super good for the brawly composition as well. But the moment you fall into Bruce form, you become very subject to being staggered out if you're the last one remaining. We do see St. Clair securing point number 1. in a pretty dominant fashion. They do exactly what they need to do, and we're seeing them adopt a very similar style, holding a very high line, pushing all the way to the point 2 doors, pushing towards point 3. They're actually going to find that pick onto the Hulk. Not going to be able to stagger him. They're just going to secure the kill as the cart keeps marching along. UI struggling to get through this doorway.
Yeah, I mean, St. Clair have found their tempo. They found the momentum and right now, and they're going to keep it going. Almost 3 minutes onto the clock, and they're already here at the second point. Definitely making great time. University of Iowa have to find an angle themselves now to try and get a get back. Song Inferno is available from the Phoenix. So look at the melee coming in. Just a ranged projectile, and it's just going in melee blast, just kicking the hell out of them. Now there's a multiple pulse cannon gun and it's gonna get the Phoenix. Oh, does manage to grab him, but he gets exiled. Some of my words a little bit there. But the Savage Seduction is being popped up now and is gonna find some of them, but the Sia from University of Iowa is gonna let them have a little bit more damage and also some bonus health. So it is gonna push St. Clair all the way back now.
Alrighty. I mean, they did get a good win on point 1, so they still have 2 minutes to work with here as they fight for point number 2, or just a little bit over it. Still have about less than 100 meters to go. Have to get around the very awkward corner, though, the bottom part of the U, you could say, as the terrain around is being rebuilt, freshly to be destroyed in just a matter of moments or minutes. As we see yet again the Hulk going in deep, disrupting the back line, entering that World Breaker form. It is going to do what they can. Holy One's going to find the first kill, give St. Clair the advantage.
Yeah, World Breaker Hulk matching up with Song Inferno is going to make it almost impossible to take them down. He's going to be able to take a lot of space, but UI does find it and take Hulk down over the puny banner form. But it looks like he was able to get it right back. Oh, never mind. He went back to the normal Hulk. I missaw that. But still, point still stands. St. Clair in great standings is going to be able to just go ahead and block this. Now the heals are going to come in and they're just going to body block him their way. Emma Frost trying to make a way back on the point, trying to make overtime, but unfortunately was unable to. Now that's 2 minutes and 30 seconds left. St. Clair are going to be able to bring this back, but just barely. They have to keep this tempo going. They have to keep the momentum up. You cannot risk any sort of bad pick on you right here, but it might just happen as Clover overextends and gets taken out to puny banner. Look at the slash just coming in from Wolverine. It's not even going to give Clover a chance to run away, and that's already the Hulk down. It's just the second time we've seen this overextension on this same map, on this same place.
Yeah, St. Clair having to pull back just a little bit, not put as much pressure on the University of Iowa as they would probably like to do. As the University of Iowa have such a high line again. They do kidnap the Magneto. Meteor Ram invest it. Doesn't find anything though, goes wide.
Yeah, the Hulk was able to jump his way on up and claim it, but look at Astral, a double kill onto both the Rocket and the Invisible Woman with the Invisible Pulse Cannon. Maximum post them out all the way out of the map and is going to get that last kill onto Watt as well. The triple kill coming onto Astral. It is going to go ahead and set them up nicely. Getting really close up to the point there. Clover is going to be jumping up and down on their spawn. They're going to try and maybe see if they can body block them way out. They have to try, but there's the Sia now coming from the Rocket, but the push is going to delay him just a little bit. 5 meters is left here onto the point, but 1 minute as well. Now here's the Horn. Astral is going to get taken out by the Hulk. Exxon Inferno does find his way onto the back line, and Wolverine is able to finish it off, taking the Invisible Woman out. University of Iowa go ahead and reclaim their tempo and reclaim the spot here. The melee's coming in from Phoenix. It's just insane. Melting Hulk. Making quick work of him now. Here's 50 seconds left on the clock for them, and they're going to go ahead and stagger Clover as well.
Yeah, I think one downside here is the fact that that stagger didn't mean that he stayed on cart for quite a bit of time, so they were not able to push the cart back any. That is going to be a nice death timer for that Hulk, as they do use a lot of utility to get that win. But in the end, it's still level 2 ultimates to 2. The Cloak and Dagger from JJ is going to use it as a means of entry, but I think might fall in the background.
The internal bond. Oh, the last den coming from Wolverine. Was able to find 2 of them, but the shield and the healing was just enough to save them. But we saw Wolverine was able to Pharaoh leap his way onto Invisible Woman, taking a out. Cloak and Dagger taking her out of the Eternal Bond, but even then it didn't really matter. The Exile coming out to the Namora is gonna buy them a lot more time, but here it is. Once again, the Eternal Bond, this time coming in from the Cloak and Dagger on the University of Iowa side. Hulk grabs the Iron Man, maximum pull is just gonna go ahead and miss, and there's a bounty being topped up from Triple Sebas here, and it is just looking for the End Song Inferno. He's gonna try and find something here. Does manage to get the kill onto JJ. It is not looking for St. Clair right now as overtime is here. Now the Doctor Strange pick onto some hero is gonna go ahead and bite it. Maybe a little bit more time, but just the death timers is just not looking good. But Hulk Clover is able to buy himself excellent time here, but the Hulk reset is gonna be enough, and University of Iowa take a map 2 and take St. Clair out.
2-0 fashion. The University of Iowa take it clean. I mean, I guess you could say clean. It was an absolute brawl. The fighting never stopped, and man, it really felt like it could have gone either way. St. Clair had a wonderful time when it comes to that point 2 and point 3 pushes. One was a little sketchy for them on the attack, but the moment they started moving, they were looking really good, and I almost expected us to go into the overtime, but Iowa comes up massive, and the Rocket Raccoon pick, I need to call that out. Rocket has been growing in popularity, and the res that he has is just so valuable. They actually lost the first member, which is usually a terrible thing to happen in those do or die moments, but the rocket res meant they were back into a 6v6 and they were able to turn the tides. As we do see the stat line here, I mean, it seemed like a full team affair for both teams, everyone in and amongst the mix, but you got to give massive shout out to Crack Smoker. I mean, cracked, I guess you could say, not to make the pun, but 55k damage block, 21k damage done, 12 final hits from the Hulk. Can't say that he was not influential here today. It was absolute masterclass of the Bruce Banner pick.
Yeah, you stole my joke. I mean, yeah, Crack Smoker, man, coming in clutch for Iowa that entire series. I mean, absolutely insane numbers on the Hulk. And, you know, that second map, you know, Industrial Path, especially, again, it's another one of these maps where you have to look at the stats and you can see just how close it really was. I mean, Astral was clocking 34, 35 elims, something like that. So, again, the stat lines across the board, so close. Absolute heartbreaker there for St. Clair on that second map. I mean, I really thought they had it, and just kind of at the end, you know, they got that stagger going on Banner there, did a nice job kind of just converging on him and waiting for the rest of the team to get up, and then from there, it just kind of, they didn't have much of a response after, so, I mean, man, really, really great stuff from Iowa throughout this whole series here. Nice team play, good coordination overall, very, very solid-looking team from top to bottom.
Yeah, no, most definitely. I mean, I feel like my only thing would be, I feel like for St. Clair, instead of banning the Emma Frost, I feel like they should have went and banned out the Hulk. I feel like Crack Smoker, I feel like was the biggest issue on St. Clair's side. You know, I mean, just Crack Smoker was just everywhere, all over the place, and making excellent work of his Hulk, you know, being able to exile the most important people. And also we saw he was able to jump into the Magneto's Meteor M and Gamma shield it out. You know, I mean, just the plays coming from Crack Smoker was just up all the way up there. You know, and I feel like we should have probably banned them out, but I mean, despite that, I St. Clair still played really well, I believe.
Yeah, I think both teams really showed out, and I think I think both of the series today really showed the wide range, and part of the reason why I think so many people love the Marvel Rivals scene is we had two different series today, including games that took place on the same map, and they felt like completely different games. You know, completely different compositions, different thoughts on how to approach them. All four teams that we saw today that went onto Yggdrasil's path played it completely differently, and I think that's massive shout out to both the game for being so diverse in the amount of options and metas currently in play, but also to the actual players themselves. I mean, we were praising how adaptable, you know, the first two teams that they were, and both of the teams here today also, or both of these teams in this series, were just as adaptable, making change constantly. I mean, I don't think there was a single point, because we obviously had Convoy and a Convoy. I don't think there was a single point, you know, where we had a composition last for 2 points in a row. they would finish up the 1 point, and then after a fight they would want to go their way, they would immediately swap off to the composition that would work better for the next point. There was no team that really just like said, no, this is what we're going to do and this is how we're going to play it. They were adapting to the game. It was very flowy, and I think that is a very good sign of good teams. So I think both teams showed out. It's just Iowa was just a little bit sharper on the day.
Yeah, and I mean, when you look at these four teams and the wider Collegiate Rivals Series as things get underway, you see them doing things cleaner than some of the pros do. Because like you guys were talking about, sometimes teams can really get stuck on, well, we have this game plan for this map with this comp, so we need to make it work. But a lot of teams now, even at this level, are learning that if you can swap your hero at any time, there are more than one way to solve a problem. When there is somebody that's cooking on a particular hero, or a comp really just is kind of putting the hurt on you, there are lots of ways to solve it. It's not just about execution or clicking more heads. Sometimes it's like, okay, come back to the drawing board real quick. We can't redraft, but we can kind of play with what we have here. And I think that's what we saw a lot of today. I noticed we didn't really see triple Vanguard, triple support on these convoy maps. These teams are going for kind of, a more straightforward, like triple support. They've got a DPS thrown in it. They've got their two Vanguards. So some pretty interesting differences, when you look at different regions in this game. Each region has their own meta, but each kind of tier of competition within that region too also has its own meta game. So we got to see some interesting stuff, but some really great plays. I would say these teams are very coordinated, especially for collegiate players that may still be kind of getting their feet wet with competition beyond just, ranked play in Marvel Rivals. But, you guys got anything to wrap us up here after two very, very nice, solid broadcasted games?
I mean, it's just like, once again, just to be said, I mean, this is the first day we're here live, and just all these bangers that have just been shown up already. It only shows that these next couple of matches that we're going to be having on a later date are just going to be insane as well. And I'm just so incredibly excited to see them, because like already, I mean, I won't lie, I still got my head stuck on that 180 Beatty coming in from Endoti. Like, that's got to be like my favorite highlight. And and I saw what you posted, Titanic, like the 360 COD, like that was hilarious, and that was the perfect way to describe that. It was just complete mind blower.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I very similar thoughts. This is my first like real in-depth taste of the CRS. I cannot be more excited. If this is the level of talent and the level of games that we're getting on day one, I can't even imagine what it's going to be like when we actually get to the playoffs and when we get to the meat and potatoes of this competition. I am just super excited and looking forward to the future. I just can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, plenty more where that came here from the Collegiate Rivals Series. Wrapping up week number 1 here for now, but we've got 7 more weeks of Swiss action for you. 28 teams all in the fray here, vying for that $2,500 grand prize. But for now, that's a taste of what's in store for the rest of this fall split, and best of luck out there for the other teams still competing. But for now, that is going to be us from the broadcast team here. Thank you so much, Reezy and Soren, for joining me and for walking us through all those maps out there. Great stuff for sure. And from everyone at the Collegiate Rival Series, thank you so much for joining me. My name is Diatonic, and I've been joined by Reezy and Soren here tonight. Please be sure to follow the Twitch channel and go check out the Collegiate Rival Series X account as well for all of that CRS goodness. But for now, that is all from us here, and we are going to go ahead and wrap things up for the night. So stay tuned. Next Saturday, once again, we'll be back in action with more feature matches for you. But for now, enjoy the rest of Marvel Rivals Ignite for the weekend, and we will see you next week.